Blog Talk Radio.
To know the ledge, this is not the time for blowing bread. So it's said, you are now rocking with the best. You know it's red, you know it's blue. We wishing you the best, you know it's true. Out of murky waters, the lotus grew. Out of murky waters, the lotus flew. 50 cent soda blue. Look at what we doing with the knowledge. We developing a type of college, building a machine with these type of dollars. We brought you the highest breed of scholars. To water your mind with alkaline seeds of knowledge, to resurrect the lost city in the sea of knowledge. I'm from the Brooklyn Zoo with a sign spread. Don't feed the scholars, know the ledge. Every Tuesday and Friday, at least 2 hours. Broadcasting from Ground Zero, superheroes, the new Twin Towers, red and the blue, the new Jack Bowers. 24 hours of black and more power. Hotep, Islam, peace, God, shalom. Welcome home. No one man should have all of that power. Return to the superhead rules in this age of water bearing. We in the matrix, auto staring. Hydroplaning down the information highway. Hanging out the window, shooting at the angels sideways. 9 p.m. Tuesday to Friday. It's Tuesday. If you coming at it sideways, you can say I did it my way. The good Dr. Sinatra. I'm Bojangle, the fallen angel. The church of Satan. When we gonna see the church debating? The earth's awaiting. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the earth is shaking. We birth the nation, we percolating. We easy to swallow. The information is hard as hell. The pills is in circulation. Impersonations, hard to tell. The smurfs is hating. Somebody go run tell Gargamel.
Oh, please don't be frightened. I'm terribly sorry about this.
I bring my life to the table. I bring my right to the table. I bring health, wealth, knowledge, and self to the table. I bring know the ledge CD to the table. Conscious table. I bring know the ledge radio to the table. Conscious radio. Conscious Wikipedia. I bring DVDs, books, know the ledge media to the table. Killing fables to the families of the royals. I bring Kings County to the table. Restore the royalty. The melanated Clark Gable. Social culture. To the tables, the superhead rules to the tables. I bring 7 heaven seed balls to the table. Soul water to the table. Red and blue, the Big Daddy Kane. Ready, willing, and able to walk into my stables. Full length stables, back from the future like Bishop and Cable. To introduce the freshmen to the X-Men. And all of their candy excellence. No question, class is in session. Report to the chat room, pen and pad in hand. You wanna be there early and beat the caravan. People storm in the gate to get a plate. Them lines packed like the Happy Land. Either open up with the latest cuts or them rap tools. The bump out the latest trucks. From 9 to 11, we do it in the dark. Like we used to do it in the park for the most part. From the very second that the show starts, you witness and compose off, think Mozart cut. The love received so far has been so hard. There's a few dudes to front, but they medulla, they sharp, man, they so soft. Don't be thrown off any Zoloft. Avoid them at all costs, like raccoons or skunks. But back to the regular scheduled program. The program is sponsored by 7 Heaven. What else in hell can you get an open line to heaven at 11:11? Emerge at the other end of those meditation portals and elevated mortals, even some immortals. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Press 1. For everyone else, thanks for attending another session. I'm pleased to teach, but it's an honor to learn. Certainly, courtesy of KTL University.
Oh, please don't be frightened. I'm terribly sorry about this. You are?
Peace to you and yours, peace to you and yours. This is NETER Radio, and you are now rocking with the best. Yes, indeed. This is your host, Brother Blue Pill. I'm about to be joined by my co-host any second now. Check this.
Peace. Hello?
Yeah, you hear me? Peace.
Yeah, peace to the God.
Yes, indeed.
What's going on
good,
with
bro?
you? Hey, everything is good. What's good with you?
Life is good.
Ah, that's what's up.
Man, I'm on. Yeah.
Peace to the family. Welcome to NETER Radio. You are now rocking with the best. This is your co-host, the brother, the Red Pill, a.k.a. the Red Pillar, reporting live and direct. Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man. It's,
what you know about it?
It's I don't even want to say it's hot in New York. It got to be a whole nother adjective that could describe what I was feeling today. It's electrifying.
Yeah. Electrifying is a better word. It's baking.
That sun is giving off a different kind of energy that to just speak about temperature really wouldn't be giving it the credit it deserves. It's
giving off an
energy. It's a very intelligent energy that it's emitting. And, for those that are pretty much inclined to be in that mind to connect with the great divine, you will notice that if you are creative, if you do things in the realm of science and art, you might want to step forth, because what we have to understand is that the world of science and art, or the world of the real world, the real, right? The real world versus, what should I say, alongside the REE world, the real world, the news reel, the movie reel, things of that nature. So now in the physical reality, this 4D/3D reality that we call real, there's somebody named Joker that has actually terrorized Gotham enough where he got Batman to take off his mask. In the real world, this all happened.
Yeah, I mean, you be following that Batman thing. That thread is, I apologize, but I just don't give it no more of my energy. I'm sorry. I can't.
Right.
It's too much, you know what I mean? Like, I don't do it. When I'm seeing pictures where the nose is not the same, it's not the same guy that they show, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't, like, they you know.
It's not hopped on a particular thread, but what I'm saying is that still got performed. At least a particular entity or being communicated through that sign, it still is what it is. So it has repercussions and things of that nature, and there's a merging of that particular world now facing with in this day and time.
No doubt. I mean, I'm going to just keep it 1,000. I didn't even see the movie yet. You know what I mean? So I'm just not part of that conversation. You know, I apologize for all my people out there. Like, I'm just not, you know, I'm not there with it.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
So for those that still do remain on that particular thread and have seen the movie and want to know what the connection to the particular movie is, because that, again, like I said, it's still an energy that exists, and people are still experiencing this level of phenomena where they can watch a movie and participate in the quote-unquote, you know, the app of it, the 3D app, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like reverse the role between the real REAL and the real REEL. You feel me? Because they even are using media as like a Hollywood scripting agency. You know what I'm saying? Where they're writing a new bio for homie. You know what I mean? They're creating public sentiments that more so lean towards him being what? Just a young man who lost his chance at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lost his
I mean, and that's
chance.
what, yeah, and I apologize because I became
you know
uninvolved and, like, I removed myself from that whole thing when I saw what they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, when I had to watch the pundits on TV sympathize with this dude, you know what I mean? Like, really try to come up with every single excuse under the sun as to why he committed those murders other than the fact that he's a psycho. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, like...
But, you know, the people...
The best way that I could combat that in this reality, so I don't think about it, therefore dream about it, or keep it on my mental, especially after knowing, you know, like the show that we just did with Nev Heru, speaking about subconsciousness and thought and everything. I'm just removing myself, you know, from the whole situation. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not participating in the whole Joker. I just, you know, and this is just me personally. I'm not saying it to take away from what anybody is doing. Like, when KT does the Batman breakdown, I'll be there. You know what I mean? I'm going to go check it out and everything. But it's just so blatant at this point. The disrespect, just the way that they're handling people in the media, you know what I mean? It's offensive. You know what I mean? Like, it's offensive at this point. And best thing that I could do is continue to, you know, be a part of a movement that's teaching the truth and going against falsehood and, you know, helping people put those glasses on so they could see BS coming 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So,
all right. With that being said, is the day that KT saw Batman the Cult. His precursor to a all-out visual lecture that will be next week Thursday. I believe that's August 2nd on myastrology.com. I think /remote view. I'll be drinking. Yeah.
Your phone going in and out.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes. Like I said, family, that's this Tuesday. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in. KT the Octagree. Cody. Brother has it. Any room?
Yeah. You there?
Yes, indeed. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
All
yeah,
right.
You coming in. Word. Yes, sir. So, yeah, man. I want to give a shout-out to the family that came out on Wednesday. You know what I mean? To the Moorish Heritage and History class. That was definitely a powerful presentation. You know what I mean?
Went all the way in.
Thank you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I definitely appreciate everybody that gave me their undivided attention. And, you know, I was able to feed off of the energy that I was receiving from the audience.
Going in and out, too.
Yeah, can you hear me clearer?
I can hear you clear. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I was able to feed off of that energy of the audience, which allowed me to deliver, you know, such a fine lecture. And part 3 will be this Wednesday because it's such an extensive story, you know what I mean? There's so much to talk about that we just keep extending, you know, the parts that we have to deliver, you know what I mean? And for the family, we will have the presentation. I believe it will be a 4-part presentation. We will have that as a box set, including the 600-page PDF all-visual slide that was being done. So, you know, everybody would be able to take that home with them and then use use the PDF as a study guide. And, you know, like I said, I'm encouraging everyone to take this study guide and become your own teacher. You know what I mean? This is not about one person teaching, you know, many others. It's each one teach thousands. Okay? So this research that has been done over the years is for the family. You know what I'm saying? It's for the family to empower themselves and to lift the curses and the spells and the myths that many of the people that are around them are going under. Because if anybody subscribes to the slave story and they think that their history started with roots and all of that stuff, then you could give them the Moorish story. You could give them the history of it. The same way that they sat down willingly and got put under the spell is the same way that they could either sit down and stand up and willingly get the spell took off of them and get put under something else that's more empowering and more enlightening. And that's the true story of, you know, the history of the Moors and the people who they identify with.
Right, my story.
Not his story, my story.
I want to do this. I want to actually go to the lines of bringing the third pillar.
Okay.
Right? Out of the darkness has arisen Kate to your arc degree. Peace.
Peace. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace to the God.
Peace, noble. Peace.
How y'all doing, man? How y'all
All
doing?
is well.
Well.
Yeah, man, just listening to y'all tapping in, getting it in, you know.
Oh man, yo. I got a world premiere for you, brother, man. Because I know, because I know what Andre 3000 means to you, you know what I'm saying, in terms of influence and whatnot. So him and Rick Ross dropped the track, you know what I mean? I hope that doesn't cause anybody to tear up. Oh, my goodness, Andre 3000 and Rick Ross, we've lost one. No, you didn't lose one.
I mean, he's an alien. He deal with everybody, man. He bring them up.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't lose one. He's amphibious. You know what I mean? He could swim with the sharks.
I mean,
so, yeah, he dropped one called 16, and I got to rent that tonight for you, brother. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
I mean, he totally obliterated the track. Like, he annihilated it. Like, he went in, son. You know what I'm saying?
I've been in the studio for 2 days, bro. I ain't heard nothing but these masterpieces around me, so, you know. And I already told Quan Meg, I'm like, look, when Ross dropped that 16 bars and the precedent has been laid for, you know, the multiple bar poetic delivery, of which, you know, I got a world premiere tonight as well.
Indeed. So real quick, family, we're going to drop this tune, and then we're going to get back into the show. This is a powerful show tonight. We have our special guest, the good doctor, Dr. Phil Valentine, A.A. Rashid. Yeah, Phil is in the building. And we have special guests as well coming up. But real quick.
That's it. They can circumvent that Olympic energy.
There you go.
How the fuck change. Funny how time fly. More than my feet travel, the more that I feel fly. More that I make now, the more that the chick smile. She call me a local nigga, I opened a Swift account. Eisenhower status, set of James on the dash. Moving John Coltrane, cruising in the Cadillac. Seville, feel my life on the real. We the last boys, so this is a run from there. Rolling like Mick Jagger, the women just getting better. All I see is the money, cream, Eric Clapton. And all I wanted was 116 ain't enough. Talking that fast money, 15 every month. When your people label poor, that motivated me more. Everything I ever wore was once worn before. Roll with the punches, now it's box office numbers. Dressed like Sammy Davis, steaming my marijuana. Double MGs, double MPs. We in every hood, niggas, government cheese. Yachts and yacht masters, old dirty bastards. Floor seat for the heat, paper that I'm stacking. Better put away a penny for the rainy days. Pick and roll, give and go, fuck a fade away. Living like Scotty Pippen, dribble, rip, dribble. Started off with a scribble, now I'm flowing the river. Stay my heart cold, I'm naming my son December. Whitney died night before the Grammy, staring with a memory. Trump Tower when I started with a 10 speed. Born broke, had to use it, niggas can't sing it. Now I get 100 racks for the 16. Waking up the turkey bacon in my thick queen. Niggas hating, I'm just watching on the big screen. 3 sacks on the beat and the kicks mean. 16 ain't enough.
You know how sometimes you got so much to say, but 16 ain't enough. They only give me 16. Man, it's like, I mean, I got so much to say, you know. The world has said like so much to me, and I just want to give it right back to them, you know. When 16 ain't enough, but I only get 16, that's like a cage, you know. 16 ain't enough. I really can't say what I want to say, you know, it's just a glimpse, that's all, just one little single glimpse. Just a page. But I guess I'm seeing the purpose of doing all this talking. So I'm an 8 or 8, I was an 8 or 9, I was the winter time. Oh, never mind. I'm in my room, booming, drawing LL Cool J album covers with Crayolas on construction papers. I'm trying to fuck my neighbor. I'm trying to hook my waves up. I'm trying to pull my grades up. To get them saddle lace up. Before Lamar was Jacob. Before them girls wore makeup. Before my boys would break up. Before we toured them shake clubs. Before my mama wake up. Before my crumbs would cake up. Before they tell me they love me and will never break up. Before the time she makes love to someone that I thought was my homeboy. My boy was I wrong now. I don't budge. Don't want much. Just a roof and a porch and a Porsche and a horse and unfortunately, but of course, and of course, men of torch, just that sport, just the skin when they enter in true. There's there a lousy job. Lousy God if he lets Lucifer let loose on us. That noose on us won't loosen up, but loosen up to juice us up. Make us think we do so much and do it big, like they don't let us win. I can't pretend, but I do admit it feel good when the hood pseudo celebrate. Hence why every time we dine, we eat until our belly ache. Single grab the finest wine and drink it like we know which grape and which region it came from. If we can name them, and it ain't Welch's. Hell just fell 3,000 more degrees cooler. Y'all can't measure my worth, but when you try, you'll need a ruler made by all the Greek gods. Because the odds have always been stacked against me when backed against the wall. I'll be right at home, y'all, sitting right at home all. Kelly green with envy while I'm jelly beans descending into the palm of a child. Looks up at mama and smile with such a devilish grin. Like, where the hell have you been? She's yelling, selling's a sin. Well, so is telling young men that selling is a sin if you don't offer new ways to win. A dolphin gon' shake his fin, regardless if he gets in or out of water. Most important thing for him is to swim and flip it and hold his nose. So why shall I hold my tongue? I miss the days of old when one could hold a gal on his arm and I set off these alarms when cameras snap, 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 return, pat, 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 pat. They'll learn why mere privacy's so essential. They won't make no laws, I break they law till they see out our window. I take the ball to make them all treat humankind more gentle. But lick them all, I hate them all, don't like them, don't pretend to. Yeah, something tells me we ain't in Kansas anymore. All the shit that used to be cool ain't cool anymore. All them women we were pursuing, now they want more, and they deserve it all. Don't settle for what ain't yours. When 16 ain't enough.
Damn, he went in.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
Damn, he spazzed out.
Oh, that was
made Rick Ross sound like Waka Waka.
Ah, man.
Lord, mercy.
You know, Dre just opened up the doorway, though, for our style where we don't want to stay confined to that 16, yo. We want to let that thing breathe on that beat.
Oh, yeah. 16 is not enough.
Oh, that's such a tease. He was rolling on that thing, though, boy. I tell you, I'm still waiting on my dream will come true one day, and that's gonna be Dre 3000 and Thought on the same track.
Wow. What, Black Thought?
Black Thought, Dre 3000, man. I'm waiting on it, man. Putting it out there, yo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's an. I want to hear KT the Arch Degree and 3000 in the back of Whole Foods doing the video. Like, what's up?
Dre, he's $3 million now.
Yeah, he's going in. But yeah, man, it's in the building. Yeah, talk to the family about that monumental presentation that you have coming up in the near future.
Oh yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, man. August 2nd, next Thursday at 9 o'clock. With the Dark Knight, everybody got their take. Everybody got their feelings. But I will be putting it down the Arc Degree, Hollywood Decoded style, next Thursday.
I can't wait.
Batman.
I cannot wait.
Say that again?
I said I cannot wait. I gotta see. I'm gonna check it out probably tonight.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell everyone that has to be one of the greatest stories ever told in Hollywood, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta take my hat off to Homeboy and the way he filmed it, and I gotta tell everybody this too. You're not gonna appreciate this movie unless you see it in IMAX. And no, I'm not getting any commission from IMAX or Warner Brothers. I'm just telling y'all straight up, you're not gonna experience this movie and this film the way that it was placed until you see it from an IMAX perspective. Trust me, it's a whole nother movie,
Oh, word.
Oh, it's powerful. It's powerful. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's why I've been refraining from watching it on the internet.
Phil, let me tell you, they give so much credit to Phil Valentine in this movie because a lot of people probably don't know, but the movie is about the black man and the black woman's relationship. I mean, there's a lot of other things going on in there, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of symbolism, but it's talking about the roles that are defined by the woman and the man and what happens when they meet in the middle and do their due diligence. And like I said, y'all going to tune in next Thursday at 9 o'clock so I could break this film down. I could show you y'all the symbols, the sigils, the codes, everything that's in there, the breakdown, the script. Because that's one thing I do a lot of other people don't do in the movie. They might talk about one or two quotes, but I get into the script. And Bane said some powerful. Let me tell you, Red Bane gonna be your man, son.
Oh, word.
Oh, that's gonna be your too from that one.
Bane in my music.
Oh Lord, I'm telling you, you gotta understand. This cat followed Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger went so hard, he checked out of this realm doing the movie. So it was hard to follow through on a villain. He was supposed to get washed up, but this cat came so hard. It's ridiculous, son. He did a great job, man. And the way he's speaking in the movie is straight telepathic. Like, his whole voice is psychological, where every time he talks, because he has the mask on, his voice sounds like he in your head. So there ain't no variation on maybe doing what Bane want to do. It's what it is. That's what's going down. And if you want to stop or oppose what he's talking about, you better take him out, because that's the only way it's going.
What did I speak about on Tuesday? The moral dilemma of the hero. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's the hero archetype all day.
Now,
and I'm going to talk about how it connects to Spider-Man, Prometheus, and the Avengers, Wrath of the Titans, and John Carter. There's a story being told this summer, and all these movies are connected. There's a thread that connects all of them.
Now,
so y'all gotta tune.
Yeah.
You know,
we got it tuned
myastrologycoach.com. Click on remote view. 9 o'clock Thursday.
No doubt. I'm there, bro.
That's it. I can't wait myself, man.
Well, you know what I do? I take information out of the news lines, out of the newspapers for that matter, and the timelines, should I say, and I compress them into pills now. I wasn't able to share any written during the last More Fire 4.4 a week ago today. You know, we mainly kept the line open. There was a lot of other people that had to go, and I ain't have some things together, but I have actually been in the studio banging out these masterpieces with the architect, Qua Mega. So I've condensed this conversation that y'all having into a pill. So I want to introduce it right here tonight as a world premiere before we get into this episode. You know, Dre lined it up. KT came through, and I actually passed the baton on the end to KT. So he'll be in the building, in the audience, you know what I'm saying, to hear this in real time. Can I share it with you?
Of course.
Yeah. Brother's blind drop, but I'm sure he'll hear this on the playback. All right, this is a selection out of Spoken Groove. We call this one Holy Water. You know, there was an incident that happened here in New York earlier this week. You know, when a 4-year-old baby got killed on the basketball court. They had a shootout. An accidental murderer, you know, laid out a 4-year-old.
Where was this?
This was on Sunday evening. It was in the Monday news, and you know.
Oh, the Bronx.
The Bronx, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, and you know what the parallel to that is.
Spirit.
Oh yeah, of a light to his spirit. You know what I mean? And I felt that I wanted to put something together that's reflective of that. That we could possibly venture into the mind of what a mother must be going through with something like that. You know what I mean? It makes a person actually question their faith. But there are mad things that are going on at this particular time that's like challenging the whole aspect of, you know, justice and what's right. And is there a crusader and is there a savior? A lot of people are wrestling with these issues. So, you know, as only I can, I captured the moment, put it into a pill, this smooth groove right here, this thing here, we're going to call this Holy Water.
There's a war going on in the sky. There's a war going on inside. There's a war going on, men will die, heroes rise in disguise. Not caped crusaders, but arch villains. With a face like Vader and a mask like Bane. Dark driven, cause everyone wanna mask their pain. There's a war going on the other side. No man is safe from mother's cry. Stray bullets slay sons, his brother died. For playing with play guns, jump outs jumped out. Spray bullets slay son. She prays someday come. Justice reach the shores of this nation. Like the pen to the Nina, the Santa Maria. She clutch her rosaries and puffs on grams of the Chiba. Lights the candles cause she's a practitioner of Santeria and Obia. And she feel like there's a curse on her ovaries. Both her seeds, both deceased. She can't handle the fever, oh the grief. The headaches, the memories of her having to see her baby boys in the mall. Devour down the esophagus of this metropolis. The Big Apple. Digestion takes place in the intestines of this Leviathan. The belly of the beast is savoring fresh meat. The angel who reaps gave it to him while she was out catering. A new day begins the day the crying ends. She wished she could just dust it off and try again, like that jam from Aaliyah. But she got a lack of trust and can't confide in friends. She got a lack of luck when it comes to finding men. Only love she knows was the back of a truck or inside of a Benz. That jam from Medina was her theme song. She would sing along. Curvaceous, flirtatious. Bedroom eyes telling guys, bring it on. Come and take it. Come and taste it. Poom shorts and summer hot spots, she was top notch. She kept heads ringing like tuning forks. She always attracted the hot shots. Who left her back rock and left her tummy swell? Then Money Bell. And she was holding the ball, pulling the weight. Only time homie eyed the life he create was the night of his wake. April 12, 2012. Her only drive was her faith in her Savior, who she showered in prayer. But her pleas are exported overseas to the Holy See. Woe is me to have to inform her that the Holy See is the beast who released the plague of murder and mayhem upon us. Many facts is actual. They issued a papal bull, they warfare tactical, sending the monks with Bibles, followed by pumps and rifles, blazing, crusading against the chosen. Like we God's only seed, we confided to this design as an evil mind. These devils carrying on like it's medieval times. Destabilize the people trying, and what's left is people dying non-stop. So whether it's cops, niggas with Glocks, or boogeymen like Sasquatch, fear compels you to not pop at the wizard, pulling the strings behind the curtain, lurking in the dark, that serpent in the dark, the part of our brain that's lizard, reptilian, Orwellian to the millions. It's the purple pillar arch.
You all ready?
That was hot right there. Hot right there. Yes, sir.
No. Well, I see it inspired me to catch the current events. You know, take things that are going on in the here and now, record them in the here and now, and put them out in the here and now.
No doubt. Let me open up the arch, his line.
Yeah.
Call it for the 4-4.
Yo, Gil Scott. Gil Scott is back.
Got my dude Gil Scott up there, very happy.
Gil Scott, son.
You know this KT on the end. I passed it to you. So
yeah, I heard
KT
that.
in the form of Dre 3000. I'm gonna need 44 bars from you, brother.
Oh, son, that was hard, son.
Give thanks, y'all. Give thanks.
No doubt.
That was hard. I'm feeling that, definitely. I will be going. Well, I know you sending that to me. So, did you send it already?
I just got it myself, so I'll be sending it to you before the night is out.
Send that. So I can start soaking that up, son. I'm feeling that.
Yeah, the 4.4 mixtape, KTL 4.4 mixtape will be available, family, very soon. And also, this is off of an album called Spoken Grooves, and that also will be available soon. There will be a download link for this song, as well as the video to go along with it. I got the cover art. I'm about to drop that maybe on Facebook tomorrow. Get this thing started. When I tell you, bro, I got heat.
What's it called?
What, that joint there?
Yeah.
That's called Holy Wars, you know.
Holy Wars.
There's a war going on the other side. No man is safe from. Mothers cry.
Holy
So,
Wars.
the mothers is crying. So, we really have to take notice as to what's going on. The babies is dying.
That's why the rain is so salty.
Salt in the eyes of the most divine. So, we really got to analyze some things and bring that sonic boom back.
The sonic boom bap.
Yeah, that speaks to the children. We got to hold these conversations.
Return of the sonic boom bap.
Turn God boom back. Shout out to the Black Dot in the building. No Dot got to get on the project as well.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It's only one thing missing to make the night complete. Family, this is a Friday, so we're just unwinding and preparing ourselves for tonight's monumental show. Part 2 of the origins of the metaphysical underground. special guest, Dr. Phil Valentine. He will be joining us at the 10 p.m. hour. But it's only one thing missing from this conversation tonight. That's that Batman Mafia. Ugh. You heard?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to let it rip.
Why not?
Close your eyes, no way to lose. And I'm right here. I'm going to release control. We're breaking through.
Can a tear gas being thrown over right near our neighbor, and it just explodes, and all of us start getting teary, and
so it actually felt like tear gas, not just a smoke bomb.
No, it was tear gas, and we were just all panicking, and we at that point we were just looking for a way to get out.
Bailing out of Wall Street, can you feel the heat stroke? Metaphysics we smoke, return of the trench coats, Batman Mafia, white boys copy of the real God body, reset safari. I'ma close your tabs up, I don't give a fuck about no porno in your MacBook. I'ma blow the lab up, better get your math up, study some Kabbalah, drive that Impala, a little nigga's father, peanuts and carbons. I used to be in Spofford, now I'm doing Harvard, chilling out on Slauson. Venice is so awesome. Look good, eat good, yeah, I'ma toss it. Lemon avocado kill, yeah, we gon' solve it. Love reinforced it, damn, we the bosses. The real Rick Ross, know they let you lost it. Blog talk roster, Grandmaster Gasses, Illuminati forces, melanated evil, the real black bosses. Death with the Vader, reading of the Gita, or make you a Krishna. Chillin' out in Cali, two-tone ballads, 44 lords, Mojo rising, the horse love the doors. Let's play a little game of real hill dweller. Wine in the cellar, you ain't no Gucci, nigga, you a sweater. Damn, I'm getting better with you. I will spit pain in my music, hit vein in my music, charge to review, Spain in my music. Waters off gates, Sour get an A, Fleetwood Mackin, never sell a Nixon. Dubs move quicker, faster than a picture. You don't wanna miss a trip to submission and new star systems. Montauk points, sacrificing lizards. Damn, he's the illest, the Batman killer. Bane a gorilla, a stain and I'm Triller. I can't yell killer. I said I would do it, knew I would screw it. Legs couldn't do it. You sip on this fluid and see if you can roof it. Wolf with the pack, monkeys in the back. Hang over that, hangers with gas. Sun up Ramadan, sticking up the trap. Nighttime hostess, send me in the Mac. Curse of Trayvon, shooting Simmons in their back. This ain't a riddle, don't buy no Skittles. Fuck all them Snapples, eat with the apple. Do what you gotta do, pass him to get to. He's on his 1-2, let's have some fun too. Let's have some fun too, let's have some fun too. Yeah, bail out Wall Street, can you feel the heat stroke? Metaphysics we smoke, turn of the trench coat, Batman Mafia, the white boy copy of a real God body. Reset safari, I'ma close your tabs up, I don't give a fuck about no porno in your MacBook. Yeah, bail out Wall Street, can you feel the heat smoke? The metaphysics we smoke, return of the trench coat, Batman Mafia, white boy's copy of a real God body. Reset safari, I'ma close your tabs up, nigga. ATL, nigga. I ain't playing.
Real God body. Ugh. I don't even know what to say at this point, man. I don't even know what to say. It's just real. It's crazy.
Batman, what is it? The Batman what?
Batman Mafia. Can't fit.
Batman Mafia. Black man.
Yeah. Yeah, that 4.0 is going to be something else right there. I tell you. That 4.0 is going to be a problem. But shout out to all of my God hoppers, everybody that's out there being creative, putting that music together, putting those visuals together. Any directors out there, holler at us. You know, it's video time, it's movie time. You know what I mean? Any videographers who have a great eye and want to get creative with it, you know, we'll provide the soundtrack. But yeah, that's what's up.
Visualization. That's it.
That's what it is. So yes, this Tuesday that just passed, we had a monumental show where we brought out the architects, all right, the founding fathers, the builders of the metaphysical underground, okay? The metaphysical underground is affectionately known as the MU, okay, and it has morphed into what we know now as a collective, what people have called the conscious community, all right? So on Tuesday, we brought our brother Black Dot on the show, right? We brought our brother Chris, a.k.a. Christ. We brought the good doctor, Dr. Phil Valentine, and we had brother A.A. Rashid called in briefly, all right? So on tonight's show, we are going to continue the conversation because, like I said, the story is very extensive, and they only really got to scratch the surface. So, you know, tonight is going to be a continuation. We're going to pick it up to where Phil Valentine will be talking about some more of the origins that led him to, you know, do some of the historic lectures that he did, this 300-plus pieces of work that he has laid out. And, you know, he'll be speaking about bringing in A.A. Rashid, you know what I'm saying, christening him, you know, into the conscious community. And when he departed from New York, when he exited stage left and left it in the hands of the young trusted brother to continue in his legacy. We'll also be hearing from our brother NETER, who was very instrumental in the distribution aspect of being able to spread the information around the world, for that matter, all right? The brother has been very instrumental just standing right there on 125th Street, across the street from the Apollo, over the past decade. I believe it's 13 years, you know what I mean? He has been very instrumental in, you know, helping this movement become global. And this is before the internet was utilized as a social tool amongst the family. All right? I remember we didn't even think we didn't forecast that we would be able to do the things that we are doing with technology all the way back then. Even though we knew it was on the horizon, everybody looked at it with a skeptical eye because we knew that it could be used to our detriment, okay, as well as, you know, to benefit us. And everybody was basically comfortable with the way things were going at that point, you know what I mean? Because when people gathered, we all knew who we were. Everybody was familiar with the faces. It was a big family gathering, you know what I mean? So there really wasn't that much of a need to, you know, to spread out like that, you know what I'm saying? But thankfully, because we're very thankful that it did, we're very satisfied with the results, because as we see, it has touched many people around the world, and hopefully it's doing the same thing for you that it did for me in my infancy stages, where it helped convince me. I had one foot in the streets and one foot in the community, but it definitely convinced me to put my energy and my talent and my spirit full-fledged into this movement and dedicate my time and, you know, everything else into it. I made that choice. I made a conscious decision. Everybody has a choice to make, you know what I mean? You could choose to do other than that, but I made the choice that I was going to make this a part of my life, and I'm very glad that I did. I don't regret it. All right. Blue, you there? KT.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just...
All right. So I'm going to read the description. All right. I'll read the description for the family. Then we're going to go to the lines and open up the lines for our callers for tonight. Okay. Brother KT's line drop. Almost 10 years ago, Eye-Opener Productions, comprising of the Black Dot, Brother Chris, and Brother Shabazz, officially jump-started a renaissance in consciousness by choosing to book Rev Phil Valentine for their inaugural lecture. Breaking with tradition, their target audience was specifically the youth, in the same fashion that Clarence 13X implored decades before. They brought the high sciences out of the temples and into the streets, where it became accessible to the youth. Once the seed was planted, a decade later, we are surrounded by a jungle of consciousness. In some areas, those fruits have flourished. In others, they have shriveled up and are in desperate need of water. Once and for all, we set the record straight about the origins and give praises where praises are due. December 21st, 2012 will mark the 10-year anniversary of the very first lecture Eye-Opener conducted with Rev Phil Valentine, giving birth to the metaphysical underground in this current incarnation, so the countdown is underway. Let the truth be told. All right? So that's the description. I'm going to go ahead. If the brother A.A. Rashid, if you are in the call queue, can you raise your hand at this time? Because I'm going to go ahead and bring you in. I know that we are expecting...
Let me begin tonight's episode with brother that we started with on Tuesday night's episode. Okay. I want the brother to segue into the next guest. So before we go to brother A.A., let me turn on the line for the brother Black Dot. Calling in 917-239. Dot, peace.
Peace to the family. What's good?
Peace to the God. Peace. Dot.
Yo, first and foremost, the track is fire. Holy Wars, no, real talk. I mean, it shows such tremendous growth as an artist. You're making that leeway now. You know what I'm saying? I see that quantum leap tonight. In your flow, your delivery, your topic, you was comfortable. It's like you was sitting in the Maybach and you was cruising on that, and you just mastered that particular track. I felt everything about that. So I just wanted to throw that out there immediately from one brother to another. You recognize the growth in the people you're around. When they make that jump, you recognize. And tonight, I recognize that jump in Blue Pill. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
That was official. It was official. And side note, the Batman Mafia is hard body. My God, geez. Where's that coming from? You know what I mean? Rashid is like, he's like he was constipated. He was waiting to drop hard shit. You know what I mean?
Yo,
he laid in the cut and everybody else get off, and then he just dropped some real hard shit. Like he been constipated for years. That was hard body.
Yo, you know, like when Wu-Tang tell their stories, and Raekwon Allah and all of them is like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We was doing this before and all of that. You know, we was running around like we used to see Old Dirty, but we didn't know that he had the spits. Like AA came in as the black line of Voltron when the rest of the lines was just doing them, and just came in to form the complete. Like that's the completion right there. That's what was missing. Yes, that's what we was waiting for. That balance, that Dolph, that he's that hidden pillar. You know what I mean?
That hidden pillar, and he gonna go against the grain, above the grain. You know what I mean? Everything that you afraid to say, he gonna say.
He gonna say it. You know what I mean? He just took a lot of weight off of my shoulders.
Real talk.
You know, so I could go back to making children's music.
No doubt. Everybody can stay in their lane, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
So I wanted to share with the family tonight as we open up and segue into the next phase that I just wanted to make honorable mention to a few people, because as we decided to do these lectures, me, Brother Shabazz, and Chris, and we began to target that younger audience, a lot of young masters began to emerge, like Panic. Brother Panic was on the scene after a year or two. And, he's still doing his occult thing, and decoding movies and things of that nature. There was another
shout out to the brother.
Shout out to Panic. There was another brother named Tafiro, who didn't get a lot of shine, but he wrote 3 or 4 books. He's a spoken word artist, and he's a real brilliant mind.
Is that the brother that wrote Company of the Moors?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried to get the God on the show. Hopefully I'll see him again while I'm in New York. But family, the Company of Moors, if anybody has, you don't even you just gotta be into good writing.
Yes.
And I encourage you to please go and get that book. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. It may be on Amazon, but you can find it. That brother, his pen game is crazy.
Yes, crazy. Then there was another brother, Roswell, who rocked with us for a while as well. He dealt with magical equations. Another deep brother, as we were building these young masters, there was Brother Cypher Black. You know what I mean? Peace to the God. You know what I'm saying?
Cypher Black. Peace to the God. Yeah.
Peace to the God. Cypher Black. He emerged out of the camp as well, doing his thing. Spoken word artist, MC, graph writer, and our astrologist at the time was Master Will. You know what I'm saying? He moved to, I believe, North Carolina or something. He was our master astrologist at the time, and he rocked with us. Also, in the audience, sitting in the chairs, was a young master teacher named Isaiah the Duke of Tears.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was sitting up in the audience. Peace to him. I heard him and his queen got a new album coming out soon. Brother Young Rich, who did 5 Bloodlines of Hip Hop with me and toured. We went to London and other places. Was another brother in the audience. You know what I'm saying? So we had people, the other Rich from Underground Railroad in the audience.
What's the name of my dude that moved to Atlanta and opened up a spot down there? He used to teach the occult too. And
Lamar?
Was it Lamar?
Yes, Brother Lamar.
Brother Lamar.
Yeah, well, Sonetta is more instrumental in giving a platform for him. But I wanted to say that because physically we don't all move in one circle anymore. However, we are all spiritually connected by those openings, by coming to those ceremonial events. And everybody else is dispersed, and everybody is still doing their work. So as we progress the story along, and forgive me if I missed anyone.
And yes, I'm sorry, but another teacher who did not go mentioned last week is Brother Dawood.
Brother Dawood.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So I want to make sure as we move the story along that everybody gets their credit, and because we all kind of moved together and grew up together, and we all just got our assignments, got our lessons, and we all went out to teach. Some of us still work together, some of us working behind the scenes, so forth and so on. So before you bring on your next guest, because I'm just going to listen for the rest of the show, I just wanted to throw that into the Akashic record so that we're clear that we want to show everybody love who grew with us. And, you know, like I said, even though we're not physically connected as much, we still mentally and spiritually have a bond, so to speak. We like from the League of Shadows or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We did our own thing.
Yeah, I mean, because, this show is non-biased. You know what I'm saying? It's about putting it on record who was there, who was instrumental, you know what I mean, who is still here. Shout out to everybody who has endured throughout the years. You know, it is not an easy thing to stay relevant over the years. It is not an easy thing to go through the you know, because this is not for children, this conscious thing. There's a spirit that comes with it. There's an energy that surrounds it. You know what I mean? This conscious circuit to stand up there on stages and in front of the camera and to be scrutinized and to be analyzed and all of these other things by thousands and millions of people, that is not an easy thing. You get this weight on your shoulders that you never knew that existed, amongst other things. It will transform you for the better, you know what I mean, and some for the worse. So for everybody that has endured and taught the people from their heart, I have to give you props. You know what I mean? I have to give you props.
Indeed. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to the chat room and have some fun. So peace to the stars and peace to the family.
Peace.
No doubt. All right. So, if you got any bills that need to be paid, you could go ahead and do that, Blue, and then we're going to get into the show.
Absolutely.
All right?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
From times of lore, ancients believed gold aided in prolonged lifespans and cured many diseases. It is proven to enhance mental astuteness and sharpen intuition. Gold aids in optimal bodily function and increases electrical conductivity and cellular electrical impulses. Gold can balance energy fields and is beneficial for opening and balancing the crown, heart chakra, and the third eye. One of the main benefits from an active third eye, or pineal gland, is the ability to have lucid dreams. This elixir of life is now available in 2 ounces for an amazing low price of $49.99. Our bodies are our temples, and Soul Gold Liquid Drops is essential to our transformation. Order now. Go to www.soulgoldbiz.com today.
You done know.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
All right, family, without any further ado, we are going to bring in our guest for tonight, all right? I'm actually going to open up both of these good brothers' lines. So our first caller will be calling from the area code 646. This is our esteemed scholar and special guest for the night, Dr. Phil Valentine. Peace. Hotep, brother. Love and light. Peace to the good doctor. How are you tonight?
I'm well, beloved, and how is the family?
Oh, man. We better now.
Well. Life
All is well.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to tonight.
Indeed. And I want to go ahead and open up the second line for our special guest of the night. I'll call her from the 213-270. Peace.
Peace, Lord.
Peace, Allah. Peace to the brother A.A. Rashid.
And my
greetings. Can you hear me? Brother A.
I think he went in his line.
His line dropped. Well, he'll be calling right back. But, okay.
213. Peace.
Peace, Lord.
Peace.
So, brother. Peace.
What's up, family?
You know, you got the
everybody
whole world
on the radio. Peace, Rev Valentine. Peace, Rev Valentine. Peace, Brother Black Dot.
Yes, sir. Black Dot is in the chat room. You have a packed house tonight. Family definitely came out to hear part 2 of this historic offering. You know what I mean? I definitely want to call it an offering because this information cannot be found in the book. You cannot Google this information or Wikipedia it. This is information that is coming from the caverns of the minds of some of our most renowned teachers, okay? This is history. So, you know, we had a good response from Tuesday's show. Everybody was definitely very interested in hearing. You know, it felt like a movie. They went into a time capsule. They went back in time, and they saw the building blocks of something that they were participating in the now, and they know the way that it has benefited thousands. I dare to say millions of people at this point. You know what I mean? So I want to pick up where we left off on Tuesday and get into the story, continue with the story with Dr. Phil about the formation of the metaphysical underground.
Okay, I guess you all want to hear it from the beginning. We said we were going to get a little deeper into this particular episode. So I'm going to start at the very beginning if everybody had the patience to kind of close their eyes if they want to and follow along, because this goes back to the 1981, 82, and in the time of 83, when during that time I was in what we call the cultural community, and the cultural community in Brooklyn and Manhattan, we were there was a great interchange of culture and information and a growing metaphysical community that we were having health fairs and psychic fairs, and it was pretty much something that was kind of limited to a group of people who were conscious, who were into, the crystals and the extra-dimensional communication and so-called channeling and the whole 9 yards. There was a great growth of interest in that, thanks to people like Brother Kanya and Brother John Harris, who were very instrumental in making this available to the public. They would create the conditions and the environments for brothers in Harlem and sisters in Brooklyn to come to a place in Harlem where they would have these health and psychic fairs. And it was in that particular environment that it began to grow. Now, the underground metaphysical community was actually above ground for a while during that period. It was something that was on the radio, WLIB radio, with Brother Gary Bird and Brother Lloyd Strayhorn. And, of course, Brother Kanya himself was on WLIB from time to time, and so was Sister Camille Yarborough, as well as John Harris. And we would get together and have these discussions on some very powerful issues regarding the health, not only the physical health, but the psycho-spiritual health of our people in the culture. And this was above ground. I mean, we were rocking and rolling. We were knocking orthodoxies off their chairs. Anybody that had anything to do with religion, they would be knocked to the side, because you couldn't bring the regular Orthodox, Baptist, Christian type of information, and that would not work with the people anymore, because too much information was coming out to expose what Christianity was, what religion itself was. And so from that point then became the history where we began to destroy all the different holidays and all the different ways that we were being portrayed as peoples of color, and where all the original holidays actually started. We began using African-centered holidays and African-centered sciences, and it was growing wonderfully in that community. It was being nourished. And then it happened. That's when everything began to sour and change, because things began to really change the economic basis. The churches weren't doing well economically, because the young people were actually leaving the churches and going to find a new spiritual way. We were shaking up the medical community in Harlem and in Brooklyn, because all the black doctors that were up there that were actually promoting white medical science weren't actually working. It wasn't working for them either, because even though they would come to these fairs to promote their particular programs, since it had a medical background, the people were getting smarter and beginning to find alternative, or what we actually said the natural way, which was their own cultural way to get back on track. Well, one thing led to another, that about, say, 5 to 6 months before this announcement I'm about to say, Brother Kanya and myself, along with Brother Yusuf Pollock, received something in the mail. Now, you have to remember that Brother Kanye was a Wall Street broker before he dumped all that to come to dealing with consciousness. So he would get a lot of the preliminary materials that Wall Street would be getting. In other words, he would get a lot of information about where Wall Street was heading with their economics. He got hold of some paperwork, and that paperwork was about stocks that were getting ready to come from the pharmaceutical companies, because there was about to hit in the communities, not only in the black communities, but all over America, this new disease was about to hit. And it was a disease dealing with people's immune system. And so what they did is they gave us this prospectus of drugs that were getting ready to come out. Now remember, this is 5 to 6 months before what I'm about to tell you. So here's Kanye and myself up in his apartment. He had a beautiful apartment on the west side, overlooking in Manhattan Central Park. And we were up there, and he said, look at this prospectus. This is how deep it gets, because the pharmaceuticals are telling us that we could make a buku amount of money if we were to invest in these interferon-based drugs, because this new disease had been detected. So I said, really? So he said, yeah, you got $1,500. You could go in on this and make a lot of money because of this new disease that's coming up. And I said, well, how could they predict the new disease? Is this something that they found? Obviously, we didn't know it. Nobody knew. 5 to 6 months later, there was this announcement in 1984 about this so-called disease called HIV. And all of a sudden now, this particular disease hit the market, and all of a sudden, all these different interferon-based drugs had suddenly got hit by Wall Street, and you began to see the pharmaceuticals are now gearing up and stocking up. Stocks started going through the roof for this new set of drugs for this new disease. Well, it hit real hard. And all of a sudden now, we began to wonder where this disease started coming from. What is the name and nature of this disease? But the people in the natural healing community knew what this disease was about, because since we had a deeper understanding of how the body worked, we knew that what it is that they were promoting could not be real unless someone was playing with the genetics. So what happened was they started talking about this thing called HIV causing AIDS. And when it came out, there were people telling us all this stuff about you're going to catch it, and you could catch it from sex, and homosexuals had it, and it's moving over into the heterosexual community and all this type of stuff. So when we examined it, it didn't seem right. It looked like somebody was playing a game. Now, that's when things got a little sour, because when we in the natural healing community began to dispute the medical community, we found out that somewhere along the line, the WLIB access that we had in the community, where Gary Bird and Lloyd Strayhorn and us, we was to be kicking it back and forth, all the sciences. We could tell you exactly what was going on, who was right, who was wrong, when it was how they were playing with us. All of a sudden, that access shut down. I was invited to come on Lloyd Strayhorn's show to do a show with Lloyd Strayhorn. And Gary Bird at that time was broadcasting out of the Apollo Theater. I went into the Apollo Theater as a guest of Lloyd Strayhorn, and that time he had a show called Numbers and You, and they had moved Gary's show into the Apollo so that it could be broadcast live. My turn came on when Lloyd Strayhorn had me on as a special guest. When I came on there, I dropped it that there couldn't be anything coming out of the jungle that had A, B, C, and D. I started dropping that there couldn't be, the so-called HIV AIDS is a hoax. I'm just paraphrasing. And that unless the doctors in Africa came out with something and said, here's the healing antidote to that, then don't believe that anything that started in Africa is going to be cured overnight, and they're going to come in with a kind of a drug and a disease for a disease that nobody knows what the cause of the disease is, and they already got drugs. Well, that argument, suddenly, my good beloved brother, still love him, came out of the stage right there while we were on the air and started putting the cut sign so that I would stop. And they stopped Lloyd Strayhorn's part of his show dead. And for about 2 or 3 minutes, LIB had dead air. Because brother took me into the wings of the Apollo Theater and said, brother, you can't say that. And I said, why can't I say that? Because you and I have been doing this for a long time. He says, well, why don't you do what the medical people do and have tests the way they did? And so I said, we don't do that, brother. We don't do those kind of things. Because we understand how the body works. You've been with me for the last 5, 6 years. You know how we work. You know how natural healing works. We can't do what the medical sciences do because then we would find what they find. Their science has nothing to do with life. It's talk about they study death. Well, that's where everything began to sour, and that's where we began to find that Percy Sutton, who at the time ran WLIB, began to shut down all of the natural healing communities and the cultural communities' access to the airwaves. Now, from that point where we could not tell the people what was going on around the airs, that's when I began deciding how I was going to strategize getting this information to the people. Since we didn't have any access to WLIB, and we were whiteballed from WLIB, and that's the time when they were promoting Chemron, big time. So you have to go back to those times when they were promoting Chemron, and saying that Chemron was what's going to help heal black people because somebody in Africa had created this Chemron product. Came to find out, of course, it was a lie because they had all kinds of Chemron, Roberon, Inferon, and all these others that had nothing to do with it. It's all interferon therapies that had been 3 and 5 and 6 years before that never worked. So what happened now, we weren't allowed to speak to the people over the airwaves, and that's where the formal metaphysical underground began in 1988-89 when I went amongst the community and asked them to come to my house to have a formal meeting to break down the secret behind the AIDS hoax. And that's when there was a beautiful sister, her name was Aquia, and Dr. Barbara Justice was going to get her to promote the Chemron in the communities. And I said that had to stop. We couldn't allow people to push that kind of nonsense on our people without our people getting a choice, having the knowledge of what's going on to make an informed choice. So it was at that point in 1988, 1989, that when I had that meeting to expose the AIDS hoax that began the metaphysical underground. It isn't that the metaphysics was not above ground before. It was pushed below ground. We had to take it below ground because they had shut off all access to the airwaves at that time. So from that point on, people who came there and got the truth began spreading it out in the community. Okay, AIDS is a hoax. Well, and some people were coming up and saying, no, you a liar, Dr. Valentine. It's not a hoax. Of course, 5 and 6 years later, people who were actually trashing me actually came and finally came on board and said, yes, it is a hoax because A, B, C, and D. And one of the people that proved it for me was a good brother named Curtis Cost, who went out and did his homework on what it is that this whole AIDS hoax was about and came out with a great book, one that we know of called Vaccines Are Dangerous. But beyond that point, that's where we began to begin to put the information out to the public in the underground around 1989-90. Now, between 1989 and 1997, we were having the gatherings of the masters at my home. We turned that particular program where we got people to become more conscious of what was going on about the AIDS hoax. That now became the premise, the stepping stone, the cornerstone to building the metaphysical underground through what I ended up calling the Gathering of the Masters. Now, the Gathering of the Masters grew between 1989 and 1997 when we were forced out of our homes. At that time, there were brothers and sisters who were being introduced to people like Raleigh Martin. Bobby Hemmett was coming up to New York regularly and being at the Gathering of the Masters. We had some people who, whites and blacks. We had the white guy that was in the Philadelphia experiment, Al Bielek. We had Preston Nichols. We had Native American chiefs. We had shamans that were coming in. We had, the place was just one cauldron of consciousness from the underground. And it was at that place there, in that particular schematic, that we began edging out the tapes, and everything began getting out along to California, out to the Midwest. And during the times that we were putting together the Gathering of the Masters, we found that people were traveling, when we did have the gathering, people were traveling from Chicago, people were traveling from California, people were driving up in van loads from Philadelphia, from Atlanta. They were coming down from Buffalo. The word had gotten out, and that's how the metaphysical underground began to grow and began to move out. Now, I didn't know what Brother Bobby was doing in Atlanta at the time, and I didn't know what my good brother Delbert Blair was doing in Chicago at the same time, but they too were actually putting together their own spin on the metaphysics in their space, and they were growing it in their specific communities. I had a chance to go down to Atlanta to meet up with a sister named Uma, who was greatly responsible between she and Sister Hatshepsut. Sister Uma had black media down in Atlanta, and she had a store full of these VHS cassette tapes and all kinds of conscious materials, and it was Sister Uma along with Sister Hatshepsut and Minister Brown, Clemson Brown, who were actually putting all of this information out in the communities and actually spreading that information out where people would then make their own copies from the copies that they had put out. So the Metaphysical Underground began formally in my little circle in long before that, when I was teaching metaphysics, and it was an overt thing where we were speaking about it on the air, to when it was forced underground in 1989, and from 1989 to 1997, when I lost the house there at 1241 Carroll Street, that was when we were doing the Gatherings of the Masters full tilt power. We would pack the house with 200 people sitting on top of each other from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. There were people who would still be there. And that's how it was. We were clustered together, chalked on top of one another. There was meditation time. There was food that we fed. We were nursing babies. It was one beautiful cauldron of consciousness. Then after 1996, around that time, 97, 98, during that time there was a drought. Because the Gathering of the Masters no longer came together, we began seeing Brother Big Man. And he and other brothers themselves would be putting together conscious programs based in, of course, culture as well as metaphysics. So I did a few things with Brother Big Man, but that also fizzled out. So there was this gap, and nobody was teaching anymore. And then into that gap where there was this drought, where there was this cut, where nobody could find us, nobody could bring us together and so forth, in stepped Brother Black Dot. This was the youth now who had been actually sitting at that feet of that conscious community, was just coming up. And Brother Black Dot did something that was so powerful. I mean, it blew my mind. He began taking the speakers' sciences and putting it to the hip-hop beats and to music, and not even hip-hop, but even to the old school stuff, and putting the speakers on it. Well deserved.
Legendary. Those mixtapes were legendary.
Yes, and I used to play them regularly, constantly in my ear when I had my little cassette tape, and you used to put your little your little things in your ears.
Right.
Yeah, and so Black Dot had that going for a while. He said, "Yo, check this out. Here's what I did." And I checked it out, and I was, giving props. I said this was absolutely beautiful. And then Black Dot one day called me up, along with, I believe Chris was on the line too, I'm not sure. But one day he called me and he said, listen, we're going to try to get to the youth. They need to hear what it is that you've been saying. There's nothing happening out there. We haven't been hearing anymore. The teachers are no longer out there. So it was Black Dot and Chris and Rich, and I believe it was Shabazz as well. They said, man, we got to resuscitate this. We're going to push this out. We're going to get this out there. We want you to start it off. And I said I would be more than happy to get it started. And that's when the metaphysical underground that had gone completely off-grid for about 2 or 3 years. I'm not too sure about the time frame where there was that drought, but there was a significant pause in the momentum of the metaphysical community in New York at that time until Black Dot, Chris, and Rich, and Brother Shabazz stepped into that void and began to weave the magic, bringing the youth together. And I believe it was at the Fort Greene Senior Citizen Center that we actually inaugurated the resuscitation of the underground metaphysical community.
Hold on. That's where we inaugurated our lecture. That's where we did the Blueprint 322, me and Blue Pill and AA Rashid. It was me and Blue Pill's first lecture ever. I'm opening up AA's line on the 213. AA, you online, brother.
Word up.
Word to mother. And, yeah, you a legend, AA.
And that's
you was
right
the
up
one.
block from AA spot. So that was all, bringing it home.
But what's messing with this? When homie Chris used to say, yo, man, I want to get Rev Valentine. I want to do a lecture. I want to get a lecture. I want to organize something. I said, well, call Blue, because he got the line to him. He the one told me about the God. It was 2 people told me about you, Rev. It was the Blue Pill, and it's this brother named Piankai Kush that he caught a body when he was young. He's doing 25 to life. He typed my first book for me. I used to handwrite it and pass it to him upstairs through the bars. He sent me an article in Frontline magazine, shout out to Marcus Klein, where you was breaking down movies inside of it. And he was like, yo, this brother right here, this elder right here is on the same wave that we talking about. I was like, wow. And then when Blue told me he knew you, I was like, wow, this is divine providence. And then when he told me he had your phone number, that's when I told Chris, I said, yo, stop playing, man. Here go the number. You know what I mean? And then it was like, I remember like 30 days passed. I was like, yo, did you call? Homie was like, nah, I'm going to call him tonight. And then he made the call, And then when he told me that, yo, we doing a lecture with Reverend Valentine, I was like, oh, shit. I said, now that's when my plan started going into action. I said, I'm going to start making these books. You heard? And then I'm going to put these books together, and I'm going to have them books at the lectures. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got to ask my mom and them and nobody to send me no money. I'll make my own bread. You know what I mean? Because I said I got a bunch of stuff on my mind I've been building on. So let me share this with the community, because I know the legend you, Reverend Valentine, was going. I was writing for you, for your sentiments. You heard? Because I know if I could get you to feel it, you was going to do the real recognized real for the God. You know what I'm saying? And let the people know.
Yeah, and I remember reading a lot of your material and your artwork, because you were doing the mosaic artwork, and that too captured me, which was one of the reasons why when Chris had invited me to come in to visit the brothers inside, that I said, yes, definitely, I had to definitely check you all out. But it's been a journey, and I'm just kind of giving you the surface to all the madness that we had gone through, because even at the time of in the 1989, all of what the Moorish science community has been doing is what we were doing as well. During that time in 1990, I got a dispossess order for my home of 30 years. And so what happened at that time, I had to start to fish out alternate ways in saving my home. Well, over the next 7 years, we drove the court system, the judiciary system there, the housing court system nuts. We had the judges going back to Nevada to learn what our paperwork was all about. We changed the whole face. We had to get them back into school. And so I stayed. I had the chance to keep the house and keep the temple percolating with the metaphysics for 7 years before they actually did an end around and went after my sainted mother. And that's how, she not knowing what they did and she not understanding what it is they were doing, actually caused, to be given up. And I figured it was time that we had to give it up anyway to move on to better things. But we were doing the sciences. We were doing the more science. We were we were kicking it live. I knew all about NESARA, the National Economic Stabilization and Restabilization Act or something of that nature back in 1991. And we knew about the disclosure that Obama is about to do sometime before August of this year, going into 2012, back in 1992. We were way ahead. A lot of the things that a lot of the brothers and sisters think is new and think that they're kind of finding this out, or guess what we know now, all of that was what was actually percolating at that time. We were the ones bringing the Mayan calendar out to everybody back in 1993 and in 94 when I said that I would one day do a thing on the Mayan calendar because we had one of the Mayan priests at the gathering of the masters. So all of the things that a lot of brothers and sisters think is new, and I noticed a lot of the younger brothers, 19, 20, 23, 24, who are seeing my stuff on YouTube, think I look like that. But all of that is old. All of that in materials that I have that go back, way back in time with the metaphysics of the Bible and the mathematics of the beast, and even some that have
Vampires of Consciousness.
Vampires of Consciousness. That's all the old stuff. And even before that, Sister Bert has some materials at her home, in her library, that is even before the Vampires of Consciousness, back at the house, when Bobby was there, when a lot of the other speakers that came through that most people don't know about, that are out there now in the white community, that are really busting up the white metaphysics, they came through there too, because they heard about it and they wanted to say a few things, and we weren't completely keeping the Europeans off the grid because they were coming with information that their cousins had that were working with the government. And so, we're going to take that too and put that in the mix and see what comes from it. So we had the actual cauldron, the nexus to what is now matter-of-fact information. Because back then we didn't have computers. We didn't have internet. We just had our feet and the libraries and the different bookstores that had the occult information. And you had to read. You couldn't just look and cut and paste and think that you were going to have yourself some science and then get soapbox going. Nah, it wasn't like that. You had to have your instrument tuned. You had to know what your instrument was about. And when you got up there and you got up there to speak, you got up there from authority. You got up there from years of research, going in, sweating over the materials, and coming out with your own version of it. That's what it is that...
Okay, before you could cut and paste. Thank you.
Before cut and paste.
Before Photoshop scholars. Photoshop scholars. Google PhDs. Fuck out of here. Go ahead, Rev. I'm sorry. Because I read a lot of books too, beloved. Please, not as many as you, but I read.
Well, that's what it is. It's going to take. You see, because again, I keep telling our younger people that when you read, when you research, you're using a whole other part of your brain. Sometimes when you're looking at TV, it's good to see the scholars talking to you on the screen, but that's a whole other kind of alpha training. Your brain goes into alpha and you're downloading information based upon your filter, your conscious filter, your critical filter is shut down. But when you're reading, the critical filter comes up. So you have to read and actually process the information so that both sides of your brain is kicking in and you're using another kind of acuity, comprehensive acuity. That comprehensive acuity now puts you into a beta mode, which makes you proactive in your learning process while you're reading, whereas you are inactivated in your consciousness when you are downloading information through pictures and looking at it that way. So I always ask our brothers and sisters to make sure that you get books. Always keep your books. Don't let them let you go up and look at that electronic nonsense, put your stuff, because when they shut it down and you can't get batteries and you can't do those things, when they shut and pull the plug on everything, what are you going to do? If you don't have a library or don't have your books or have access to your books, what are you going to do? And I say, when you see all these old books, my brothers and sisters, go in there and snatch up all the old dictionaries that go back to the 1950s and 40s and 60s, because what was happening is at that time they were removing names and removing words from those dictionaries that had a lot to do with deciphering the situation that we're dealing with now. Words that could give you deeper meanings into the matrix. They removed them from the books, from these dictionaries. So go back and get yourself some old dictionaries. Go back and find all the old books where they're talking about, and then learn Greek. Learn Greek and Latin. Why is that? Because that's where they hid your knowledge. If you look at the so-called English language, it's all based in Greek and Latin. It's all derivatives from Greek and Latin. So when you learn Greek and Latin, you now got a key to their vault, because they hide it in the language. They hide their information in the language and then teach you the colloquial form of the language, which is actually teaching you just to describe your reality, but they're keeping the information to define the reality with their children, which is the 1% who go into school and learn a whole other curriculum from you.
Yes, and I did a presentation this Wednesday in the Moorish History and Heritage class where I was showing that a majority of the treatises that were written in the medieval ages, 15, 16, 17, 1800s, when they created the translation schools to take a lot of the works that were written in Arabic and other things, they translated it into Arabic. They translated it into Latin and then into French and then into German and things of that nature. So a lot of these Ivy League colleges have within their libraries manuscripts and monumental works that a lot of the master teachers put forth. Yes, exactly.
And what they did, however, is, again, in the interpretive dynamics of what Western civilization uses as knowledge, they have censored all the books that go to teaching children in Western civilization. All the books that go to teach children in Western civilization are first censored through the Vatican censors.
Yes.
Okay, so Vatican has at least 2,000 censors for mathematics, history, geometry. They keep changing the mathematical context by which your children learn for every generation, so the previous generation can't help the next generation. So they quantized and separated and fragmented education into these compartmental little vignettes, so that you can't put the whole thing together. They fragment knowledge instead of making it into things that would connect the whole. So, again, this is what metaphysics was meant to do. And metaphysics, again, as I was explaining to our brothers in the last show, the metaphysics, as I had actually put it together to mean, is that since we were describing our reality, we weren't knowing how to come to conclusions and therefore come to solutions about our reality. If we are just given veneers by which to describe our reality, then those who are defining it and then giving us a bogus description of it, the ones who define it are the ones that are actually the causal principles that we have to learn. The causal principles of metaphysics is to define the reality so that the truth may come out. Describing the reality is just giving you a lot of the veneers, a lot of the different effects that the reality can take while hiding the cause. So What's problem is that a lot of brothers and sisters in the psychological arenas could not figure out how the beast was working because we were simply describing what the beast was doing to us and describing how we felt about what the beast was doing to us, but we didn't get behind the scenes to define who the beast was and what his mindset was like so that we know how to truly attack him and defend ourselves psycho-spiritually. But then that's why a lot of times there was a schism between the metaphysical underground community and the nationalist community. The nationalist was dealing with the description, okay, police brutality, poor economics, poverty, brothers and sisters in jail, injustice, and so forth. All of these were effects. And so we say, okay, yes, now we've attacked the effects by going head-on with them, battling with the police. We've even tried to attack the effects based upon going into their system of law. But the system of law was a maze because the definition of what that situation was not clear to our people. So when I would have arguments with the people who were in the nationalist community, I kept telling them, you are not bringing up the intellectual index of our people so that they could see how their condition is actually being run from behind the scenes. Not this reactive mind nonsense, let's go march, because they keep these puppeteers there. They keep the Reverend Fatbacks and they keep the Messy Jessies constantly reacting, causing you to react to the description of it. So when we see that these people have been set up to do that, to keep us reacting to the description, we now, in the Black Matter think tank, the Dark Matter think tank, are going in. You young kids, you young boys and young sisters, you're going in now and you're getting to the ones who have been defining it. Now you are going into where the realm where they are cooking the books, where they are putting the things together before they show it to you. You know how it works now because you are not running and pulling for the okie-doke. I look at the Facebook and I see the way that when something is shown, when they give us a picture of something, I look at the commentary and I see that the young brothers and sisters are saying, nah, that ain't it. Here's what it is. And I'm saying, okay, good. They're seeing behind what all this nonsense is. And every time I'd read and not see that, then I'd put a little comment in there to change their minds, to let them think in another direction, let them put another mindset to work on what it is that they're looking at. So I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, dancing back and forth, and I haven't really given you any more about the underground metaphysical community, but what I have done is to tell you and show you that the metaphysics was not just about studying the occult and getting to know about, what the stars are and all of that. That's just part of it. Metaphysics is a thinking dynamic. It's a dynamic way of thinking on the causal planes. Deal with cause rather than effects. And once you understand cause, you can create your own effects.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
That's enough to get you through any kind of madness right there.
Yes, it will.
Word up. Knowing your role, your part in it. They always ask you, when you did something crazy, they say, well, what did you do to make it happen?
Indeed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the brother, he had to mute his phone. He got a little bit of background noise going on. I want to get into because I was late. We was definitely late on the bomb trigger for that one that you dropped because you did it perfectly. You just stopped and it was
pause.
Yeah, you gave us the pause. You left that slot open and we missed it. So a bomb, whether late or on time, is still a bomb. But I want to touch briefly on the aspect of the conscious community when it began to take form into the street hustle. All right? Now, as we know, when the brothers were out on the streets pushing the VHSs and everything, they created a underground distribution system that actually, it began to grow around the United States of America and also overseas. You know what I mean? A lot of brothers were beginning to, a lot of brothers and sisters were privileged enough to be a part of the network, so they were receiving the works. And then the DVD game came, okay? And it was helmed by our brother NETER. I'm actually waiting for him to call in, and as soon as I see his number, I'm definitely going to open up his line. And he created a network where, it was more, he tapped into the technology of the day, okay? So like in 2003, the technology of the day was the DVD. A lot of people weren't, they weren't really hip to making their own DVDs and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's almost akin to...
Was it on that learning curve?
No, it wasn't. It was not. And the brother basically was on the forefront of that, and he was able to catch that wave, okay? And he's been riding that wave ever since. And as a result of that, we began to see more distributors pop up. It began to multiply almost by 10 to the point where you could walk down 125th Street. I just did another count since I've been back to New York. I did a count about 3 weeks ago, and it's approximately 25 vendors from river to river that are out there. Some brothers are from the Nation of Islam. Shout out to Melchizedek. You know what I mean? They pushing their information. We got some Nuwapian brothers, Wadu to you brothers. We have NETER out there with his library, Azariah, Azazel, Sekou, with all of the
right.
Yeah, Brother Sekou sticks more to the Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, you know what I mean, the traditional teachers, and a litany, the Rasta brothers, the Bobo Shanti brothers. Shout out to Brother Bobo, Ras Tony, and all of them. So you got brothers from all different walks, right? Pushing this information, you know what I'm saying, letting the people know there's a presence on 125th Street that is very, very strong, that, you got to be walking, even if you're walking down a block with blinders on, you know what I'm saying, and people are just telling you don't look, like you'll still see it, you know what I mean, it's in your face. So did you begin to see that change when you were dealing with, when you were in the Metaphysical Underground? Did you begin to see the growth?
Yes, I did. I saw the growth while walking in Brooklyn. And when I saw it come to Brooklyn, I said, wow, it's filtered back into Brooklyn, because I remember walking the streets and seeing down there by one of the favorite corners for Brother Big Man was right there off of Lenox Avenue on 125th Street.
Yes.
And right there where it was supposed to turn into a parking lot, but Brother Big Man would be right there, and he would be next to another brother, and I forgot what the brother's name was, and I'm, forgive me for not remembering your name, brother, but he also had a partner that would also set up his table next to him, and they would be selling, all of the Dr. Ben's as well as the metaphysics, and I remember that. Before, at one time, they and maybe two others were the only ones selling that kind of material. Everybody else was selling clothes and jewelry and different types of things, and very few people had the conscious material during that time. And I remember when NETER was actually going from the VHSs into the DVDs at that time, and the packaging and all the ways that he was sophisticating making that information available, keeping up with the times, and actually setting a pace for everybody else to catch up to. And I remember it bleeding over with Brother Rich, who set up downtown Brooklyn, right across the street from Long Island University, so he could get the college youth into the sciences. And I remember him actually teaching. I walked up one day and saw him teaching and actually dropping the science and metaphysics on everybody, which again, I mean, you have no idea when I see you young brothers out there, I mean, dropping the sciences to the young people who are passing by. That was exactly my dream when this was happening, long before this was going on, to actually change the conversational dynamics of young brothers and sisters in the street so that they're talking not just about black power, because that's black power. We all know about black power. We definitely about fighting black power. But I wanted black empowerment, which meant that first thing had to change was the mindset. We had to become what we were in the beginning, and that was a spiritual people. The only thing that would actually connect us back to our Kemetic Kemetic ancestors, was for us to get back into the mindset of our Kemetic ancestors, which the basis for their mindset was spirituality first. They were into spirituality first. All the other dynamics, great warriorship, great architecture, great sciences, that came afterwards. That was the expression of their spiritual nature. But what we had been turned into as captives is reactive mind slaves, and we were just reacting. Every time the master would act in some way, shoot one of us, do something to piss us off, we would then react. Okay, we weren't the actors. We weren't doing proactive work because we weren't thinking from a space that was not pre-colonized with his bullshit. So the way to get away from that is to come back to that melanin, that Afrocentric or Cometocentric consciousness that Dr. Richard King and Dr. Ann Brown and all of those teachers, Dr. Asa Hilliard and Dr. Carol Barnes, and everybody started getting into micromanaging the consciousness of African people and showing us the atomic dynamic of our greatness. And that's when the metaphysics began to make sense, because guess what? Quantum physics that was growing at that time was white boys dealing with metaphysics and changing it to their own language.
Yep.
See? So what I felt was the only thing that estranged us from metaphysics was to give a language and a texture to that knowledge that our ancestors left that would be accessible to the brothers and sisters. So you see me in the earlier stages giving all kind of big words and telling you go look them up, giving you not underplaying or demeaning you or you young people anyway. I would drop very complicated information on you, knowing that you and your consciousness and you all being connected to those archetypal genes of your genius ancestors would figure out exactly what I'm saying. I didn't put any punches with it.
So those migraine headaches were deliberate. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. The migraine headaches. That was burning up. That was burning up the dross. See, that was separating the chaff from the wheat.
No doubt. Ask Blue Pill. I had beef with you for a minute. Don't turn that damn VHS on. I don't want to get a headache, bro. But I understood that was that was almost like the short circuiting of the chips or whatever blockages that I had within my mind going on, and the pain that I was feeling behind my left eye when I would watch some of those videos because they were so deep was just the recalibrating of my intellect and the waking up of that DNA. You know what I'm saying? So I went through growing pains, but it once I got past that, it was all gravy. It was muy bien. You know what I mean? Like then everything. You know. Then when the information came, you know, when I was receiving it, and you receive it through the eyes and through the ears as well, it was transformative. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. You were going through what is called the crucible. You were being baptized by fire, the fire within. Yes. And young people call me still and tell me, your things give me headaches. No, what's happening is your brain is being rewired. And what it is that they set up there, the diseducation and miseducation and deducation that you've had has set up a wall, a crust, a cyst that had to be burned off. And the fact that I was forcing young brothers and sisters to start thinking about what I said, making it complicated and advanced so that I know that the genius sleeping within you all would catch up to everything I said. In fact, y'all caught up and ran way past everything that exceeding everything that I have in my expectations. Now, to be able to set up the students. Y'all deserve that. Yes, that's right. Give it up for yourselves at that point. Now, from this point on, is to set up the actual foundations for the school so that now you all, in your quest towards mastery, you remain the student so that now when you are teaching the younger brothers and sisters, there's a place, there's an edifice for you all to go to so that you can actually impart this knowledge like your ancestors did in the early days, in the old schools. And I'm talking old schools back 10, 20, 30, 40,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. No doubt. I want to know, because we're going to get into the brother AA. We want to definitely shine light on the good work that he did and the actual phase that he ushered in the conscious community. Because whenever I look back and I think about like the young masters, the ones who came, you know, after you left New York, or the ones that actually rose up while you were still there, I always bookmark his arrival. I mean, his arrival on the scene was definitely monumental. I remember telling my wife the night before he came home, you know what I'm saying, the night before he was released, I was like, this is the last night of normalcy. She was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you know, after today, everything is going to change. You know what I'm saying? AA is coming. He's coming back. You know, because I know how we used to turn it up before that. Just, you know, wherever. Just being together, doing what we do because we were so creative and forward thinking and whatnot. But what was it about the brother and his teachings and the potential that you saw in him that made you, when you left New York City, when you made your move and you you know, basically, I don't want to say retired, but when you passed the torch, what made you pass the torch to this brother A.A. Rashid?
His erudite command of the language. Brother can change the quality of his delivery from street to professor in Cambridge. And that was a necessary component in bridging the linguistic and colloquial gap, the syntactic, semantic, semiotic gap between those who are dealing in descriptions versus definitions. He had the ability to be able to catch the people at the level where they are speaking in the streets, down in the home, you know, in the homewood community, and then take them to a place. Because if you listen to when he's speaking just directly to brothers and sisters on the street, he's just, you know, kicking it back and forth, talking straight. But then when brother gets to teaching, there's a whole other person teaching there.
Yes.
Another entity comes out that says, okay, enough with the street bullshit. I can talk all that nonsense later, but here's what the deal is. Here's how you define what's necessary for you to understand. Here's what the definition is supposed to sound like. Because you can't take that street into the higher knowledge. You can always talk about it when you're describing realities or you're trying to give some kind of connection between the definition and the description. So when you're in the street, you could deal with the description, and that's what the so-called, you know, if we want to call it ebonics and the way we talk back, that's us describing our reality. It's all right for us to play at that language level. But when we start to play at the level where the hidden knowledge is, We can't play around with the Ebonics because that's a limited language. That's based on descriptions. It's surface. We're dealing with the deeper knowledge. We're dealing with something that we're going to have to articulate in such a way that the nuances of the language that we've been forced to speak has to be in place in the mind so that the person can take those words, go back to the dictionaries and go back to the referral points and understand and understand what's being said. And that's what the gift the brother has, above and beyond the fact that he does have an enormous range of intelligence to be able to find that deeper understanding of the subject matter that he's teaching. And then when the brother went deeper into and wanted to master and went into master Kabbalah, he began to bring a whole other dynamic to Kabbalah that even I didn't see, because that was his gift to see. And so now he can actually take it and even in his ways of trying to project Kabbalistic knowledge into the street, hopefully trying to bring up again the intellectual index and metaphysical index of the people he's reaching. He is actually doing that in a lot of the YouTube things that he's showing you. He's weaving those together, street with the inner sanctum, and that's where the gift is. That's what we need. Those are the kind of teachers. You too, Red and Blue. You all are doing the same thing on your level. You all are actually raising the intellectual index and metaphysical index and consciousness index of your brothers and sisters who are not privy to that knowledge, and it is being proved every day when I look at the exchange and interchange of the way you all are communicating to one another and the different words you're using. Listen, 15, 20, 30 years ago, the brothers of your age weren't speaking like that. You all weren't communicating like that. But now, you all are communicating on a whole other level, but it's become matter of fact. Back then, 35, 36, 37 years ago, I was talking to myself. But now, it's matter of fact. It's matter of fact, and this is what feels so good. So you brothers have been handling it along, and when I looked at the way brother, when I went to visit him, when he was inside, and I went to visit him, and I saw all of the books that he had, and what books he was mastering, and I saw the different types of artwork and what he was putting into the artwork. And when he stopped with the street talk and went right into the intellectual talk, I said, this brother is definitely walking the path of Ma'at. He's going to bring brothers and sisters together. He's going to raise brothers and sisters from one intellectual echelon and bring them over to where our ancestors left off before this Neanderthal came out the caves.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Definitely. So without any further ado, I want the brother to come on and share some of his story, his history, his mystery with the family as to the origins of the metaphysical underground. So, Brother AA, are you with us? Oh, hold on 1 minute. My bad.
Him? You muted him?
Yeah.
You muted?
My bad.
Yeah. Thank you, Rev. I was over here talking and everything, and couldn't nobody hear me. That's what's good. But definitely, brother, I'm gonna tell you, that did not come. Acquiring those skills that you spoke about did not come with ease. You know, it was hardship to try to change the paradigm and make it overt to the people that I know that's a really official dudes, that the cool and the real is about being intellectual and having the acumen in order for you to change and control the circumstances surrounding your life. So before you could be tough, you got to be able to have some serious science that enable you to distinguish yourself from others, and that's something that I saw, that the most prestigious people in the violent environments that I culminated my information was people that had little or no vices and was the most disciplined or had a skill set for organization because they had a whole different precept and they had a full, like, no abridged understanding of the human nature. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things going to creating that, and I tell people all the time, when I heard one of your tapes and you was talking about how you read Dante, you read all of the classics, you read Dante's Inferno, you read all the classic literature, and that's where it was at. I said, damn, well, that's what I'm going to do, and I did it. And I read, and I read, and I read, and I read. I'm talking about I read Kant, I read Schopenhauer, I read Nietzsche, I read all of that stuff. I read the classics, the Hemingway. I went to Jacob Lawrence, Joseph Campbell. I went into all those chambers, and I was. It goes all the way back to. I have to give a shout out to my junior high school teacher because he made me do. And my 7th grade English teacher, Mr. Valdez, he made me do he was one of the best teachers I ever had. Made me do my Black History Month report on Amiri Baraka. He used to be hard on me. He used to make me memorize sonnets from Shakespeare. Sonnets. I had to memorize 81 and 82, and we used to have to add 5 new words to our vocabulary daily. You know what I'm saying? Antonyms, synonyms, homonyms, everything, and have the place cards. So when you hear me say words like succinct and apex and climatic and all that stuff, that comes from that chamber. You're talking 1988, 87. You know what I mean? So that culminated with you saying that it was all right to be hip-hop and metaphysical and that this was the new dopamine, and then you put it, you was like, the dope that dudes are talking about where something is dope, you was like, that's that dopamine. So I was like, damn, why did you even say that? You know what I mean? I used to go through these chambers where I used to be the only person, I feel like I'm the only person that's getting the joke. And everybody wondering why I'm laughing and why I'm so jovial. You know what I'm saying? It's because, you know, everybody, and I said, yo, I'm not going to be in the penitentiary physically and mentally and spiritually. So while everybody was chained up, figuring out the only way to address their issues was to go in on their brothers, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, y'all niggas is crazy. The real gangster shit is in this Machiavelli book. You heard? So, you know what I mean? Y'all ain't talking about nothing. And I came home with no razors, no knife wounds, no fuck. You heard? None of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was rocking with my books. I was changing numbers into primes. I was readdressing, confronting all my issues, all of the serious, official, gangster, tough niggas that's home and that's still in prison know your boy. And, you know, we connected twins, you know that. All the Jugheads, all the Bogarts, you know what I'm saying? All of them, they recognized the God was official with it, you know what I'm saying? That took it to another level, having metaphysical classes in the can. You know what I'm saying? The police stole my Kabbalistic encyclopedia, bro, and took it to a gang intelligence jail and a whole nother jail to have the gang intelligence people try to decipher my extra notes. You heard? Like going that far to try to, you know, be like, what is this nigga talking about? He teaches Kabbalah. He's into Kabbalah. He's going to go home and deal with Jewish mysticism. You know what I'm saying? You know, they was bugging. And I was like, yo, I'm not going to come home and be the conventional historian. I said, I found out where all of the game is at. They tricking us with interpretation and us thinking that Hebrew people is white folks, and then they remove the whole gap in history by taking niggas away from Hebrew. So once you take niggas away from Hebrew, you no longer have a phenomenological printing system where you can find yourself in history. So when you hear words like kalb, right, which means heart, and then you hear words like ab, and then you hear words like to call, you know, and when you have in your English word call, and it has something to do with the declaration, and then hearts are really the voice of the soul, and that all things that are said are imprints in the heart, you start thinking on a different level, like, well, my ancestors connected all things and made the grand unified theorem through language, syntax, and synonymous spiritual motifs. So if one thing means something in one world, it means something in another. You know what I'm saying? So all of the people who have language. One of my brothers out here told me the other day that Fortune 500 white people, they children have a grasp of or can touch in their entire lifetime 60 million words in their entire lifetime. They said that we in the ghetto, children of people whose families are blue-collar workers, we only have 62,000, and in 62,000 daily we use 200 of them. You hear me? So the conversations that I used to hear in jail was, son, you know what I mean? You heard? Feel me? Real talk, my nigga. Yeah, son. Yeah. Real talk. I'm talking about like that. You heard? And all that stuff. And that becomes the general context of your thought process. So I said, nah.
Your wisdom, brother.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lord.
I got a few seconds to go to this 11:11 meditation.
Oh, yeah. You don't want
Family,
to get that.
I'm just going to jump directly in. I'm going to take the energy of this conversation into this meditation.
All right. Hombre, she will. How to say it?
We shall be back shortly. I ask you to please mute your phones, brothers. We'll be back.
No.
Family that's listening, find yourself in a dark place. In the floor.
That's what it is.
Upwards. You are meditating. Peace to the family.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That was peace. We will wait for our guest. Peace.
All right.
Brother AA, you still there? Checking the call queue.
Yeah, he's still on the line.
Hey. Hey. You there?
Hello?
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back into the convo.
Word up.
I want to ask you, brother AA. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I like questions.
I want to know when Dr. Phil left New York City and you were helming Metaphysical Underground lectures, what was it that made you want to open up the stage for new lecturers and bring in the new talent and introduce the audience and the metaphysical community to just the new teachers?
Conversations with Black Dot, and him having already, essentially had a circle of young people that was already, to me they was proficient enough to speak. The only thing that I saw that, a lot of the young people, not Black Dot, because Black Dot gave me a lot of support to make that happen. But the other young people that, who was talking and in the thing, in the circuit, they didn't have like the drive and the hunger.
Yes. Hello? The brother's call just dropped. We're going to wait for him to call.
His call had dropped. Yeah, I have noticed again, I wanted to take an opportunity, and on the Facebook I had a chance to do a shout-out to people. I hadn't been on Facebook for a while, and I wanted to give a shout-out to the brothers and sisters that's out there and working in the community who's been doing a wonderful job of, bringing the enlightenment to people. And I mentioned some people who I've been personally in contact with, but there were other teachers out there that I was, made aware of that because I hadn't had a personal contact with them, I didn't know them. And a lot of the younger people know them better than I do. So I was told of a brother named Panic who was out there doing the same kind of work, and I wanted to give him a shout out as well. And there were a couple of other brothers and sisters that are out there, Isis Wisdom, and let me see, there were some other sisters that were out there. I think not Sekhmet, I believe, Sister Blue, and there were some others that are out there doing the work that young people are telling me that are out there doing the work. So, shout out to all the ones who are keeping it real and are actually teaching and trying to do their best to cross-reference. Always cross-reference and continue, and don't be afraid to admit when you were wrong or when you may be misjudged or, did not have all your facts together, because, you're human, and doing the best you can is an effort that constantly is evolving. So don't think you need to be right all the time. Be right. Make sure you cross-reference all your information before you step to that stage to speak before your people. Like when I came out and talked about Malcolm and Obama, everybody thought it was crazy. But now, 2 years later, it seems that the information is actually now coming about. They found his information in England, in the records of the Queen of England as his birth certificate. And, of course, it starts with Malik, and his name being Malik Shabazz as well. That's why they don't want to show his his regular birth certificate, his original one, because he was raised by the president of Indonesia at that time, who was a very close friend of Malcolm. So there's a lot of information that's coming out that I had to cross-reference before I said it. And go ahead. Don't be afraid to take chances. But if you're wrong, and tell the people, hey, I made a mistake. Here's what really happened. And there's a couple of times that I got my information crossed, and I had to tell the people, no, it was this way. So don't be afraid to be wrong, and don't be afraid to be contrite and say that you were wrong, and just go forward and do what you had to do.
Indeed. Let me open this brother's line. Call it from the 213.
Oh.
Yeah, you good. You back.
Yeah, no question. That was the that was the thing that tipped it. And I'm gonna tell you, before I got cut off, I said something about money. And I'm gonna tell you, when Reverend Valentine came and filled up every single seat that the National Black Theater had, we were sitting on couches and everything, making all the men get up so the sisters could sit down. It was super packed. Man, we made so much bread, it was ridiculous. So people going to try to tell you and try to trick you. It's always the vegetarian that's trying to trick a nigga out of getting a piece of steak. You know what I'm saying? And, I ain't with that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what got me in jail the first time. Crimes of poverty. Because I wasn't keeping it real with my ability. And I was shooting for pennies when I had the heart to take millions. You know what I'm saying? So I said, nah, I can't be here and pass that same ideology to these children or a young group of people to think that Reverend Valentine deserve, or any of our teachers deserve to die in obscurity and not have no bread associated to their legacy or their iconic presence in our popular culture, because everyone deserves to be compensated. You too, you and your brother, y'all single-handedly put the Heru chain around Kanye's neck. Now, can't nobody tell me that y'all didn't do it, because y'all was the first ones to make it cool to do that. And we already had the inside scoop that people that was inside of the fashion industry had already taken the trip to 125th Street with notepads writing down, it is what we do. You know what I'm saying? But the thing that I ran into that was very disheartening is that people was under the impression that here comes a nigga from the penitentiary. What gives him the authority to sit up here and talk to us and posture as though he's deep or he's smart? And people had, they deal with appearances. You know what I'm saying? And they under the impression that because someone had a shaky kind of background, that they not enabled with the ability to make a movement. And this the thing that I was challenged with black intelligentsia, is that black intelligentsia is the cowards in the movement, the ones who want us to hold fast to what they're saying in books and cross-reference everything that we do according to caucasial historical contexts, are the people who are actually afraid of black power. But the people in the streets, the young brothers and sisters who are in the streets, who snap when the bell rings. Whenever they hear the bell ring, they just fighting. You know what I'm saying? Them, once they get hit and once they get the information and figure out that it's cool to be intelligent, then it's tears for fears. Everybody's going down. The intelligentsia and the pilgrims who thought that we would never read in this 140, 150-year reading legacy, that we would never read the right books. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing, my consciousness is mixed with Machiavellianism. My consciousness is mixed with Garvey and George Jackson. You know what I'm saying? With Donald Goines and Delbert Blair. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I'm going with it. You understand? Because I know that. Go ahead.
To my understanding, didn't the brother El Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, come from that environment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Prince?
Absolutely. Okay. So, you know, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's and then the challenge of creating new talent or having to open up the door for letting people speak is that one of the pitfalls that we as young people made mistakes before was we was allowing people that wasn't street to talk just because they was deep. You know, if that's the case, I'd rather just snatch your chain and then sell it to the people like it's mine, as opposed to just put a sucker on another platform. Because we done been bit by these suckers before. Just because they smart don't mean nothing. You know? If they don't have authentic backgrounds, authentic experiences with adversity, how are they going to act when the shit hits the fan? You know what I'm saying? Are they, you know, and that shit always happens to us. You know what I'm saying? And out of the young people that's teaching, you know what I'm saying, the ones that I respect Polite. I respect Minister Inky. I respect this young brother in Chicago named the Young God that's 19, 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? I respect Marcus Klein. I respect Dawee. You know what I'm saying? Shit, that's it. You know, Black Dot, you know, of course, that's the legend, but I'm talking about, like, you know, all these other dudes playing, these niggas play a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? And you know it. You know it, man. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I wanted us to get to a spot where we all concur and stop, you know, creating platforms for these suckers because they the worst. They like the snake on the road. You take home, you feed these motherfuckers, and then they bite you. You understand? It's because they ain't been through nothing. And we don't got no time to be playing and putting our hands on people. We both seen us put our hands on people. But I can't speak for them other dudes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know you under pressure. You know what I'm saying? And then dudes want to play and fight on the internet and talk shit and start frivolous rumors and all that shit. And I'm like, wow, all because people want this supposed slot time or this supposed limelight. But I got into this because I had overcome the fear of jail, nigga. When you telling the truth to black people, nigga, they lining you up. You heard? I can't get on planes no more. I can't do sidewalk checking no more. I can't do none of that. They always checking for me. And then you think that I'm delusional and I'm bugging when I tell you I done seen the black card, nigga, before. You heard? With the tints on them. I seen it. You heard? I know they playing in niggas' computers and all of that. You know, I know what's going on. So these people who want to be thirsty to get into people's faces and say something slick they got off the internet or remix something Rev Valentine said to make it sound slick and new and fashionable, there's some shit these white folks got for you for that if you're not a real person. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas will Dr. York you. You heard? Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And the reason why they did him dirty is because that brother had mastered cult creation more so than westernized Caucasians. And they're the only people that I have ever seen rival him is the the Asian Christians with their cult creation and being able to change doctrines to keep the people's minds relevant and hunger for more and organize and galvanize people. So they was like, nah, we cannot have this Negro talking about manifesting all of his the things that he was saying years ago in the modern era. So they shut it down. So what make you think that we should just allow, you know what I'm saying, on our shoulders, anybody to just come just because they smart, you heard, and think that they are able to teach the people, because there's a responsibility when you're teaching the herd. You have to adopt against your own will the story and the outfolding myth of the Messiah. The messianic myth is that his neck is smited, and then there's the new world. You heard? He comes, he tells everybody, they smite him at the neck, his own smite him at the neck, and then they all benefit as they cry because of their drastic mistake, that they killed another one, that they ignored another message, that they allowed them niggas let the pigs shoot Tupac in Vegas. You heard? What kind of shit is that? Why he ain't have a conscious community wrapped up around him? This is a baby from the Black Panthers. What the fuck is he doing with Suge Knight in Vegas? You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is, man, it is what it is. But I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to make some bread for my baby so she could go run with my iconic presence in this most very strangest of times. You know what I'm saying? So we leaving back catalogs of material for our children to be able to monetize. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna stop until them niggas that's all the way at the top, Kanye and them niggas, honor us on an overt jigger and the honor. I'm listening to Rick Ross record yesterday, and he putting my boy Max B inside of his lines, and this is Jay-Z. Now, Max B is doing 75 years, but before Max B came home, Max B was under my tutelage when we was in the can. Yes, a metaphysician. I had Max B grooming him for celebrity status when he got home, because I put it in his mind. I said, yo, you are ready to get on the radio right now. He was home less than 60 days. This nigga wrote the most popular song in the country, We Fly High, No Lie, You Know This, Ballin', that came out of a mind of a nigga in the penitentiary. Now they play that in the NBA and all of that. You heard? So he was on a wave that we started. So Jigga did them spitting his name and all of that. And now I'm like, come on, man. Today I sold one song for a dub. You heard? I ain't playing. One song for a dub. I sold it to somebody in Switzerland. Don't play with me. You feel me? Niggas selling the whole album for $10. You heard? And I said, yo, I'm going to wait till 2012. I said it without saying it. I did it without, saying it. But I waited till 2012 to start rapping, and I'm nice. You heard? So, and the book for Jadakiss is wrapped up. They called me today. You know what I mean? So we in like Flynn. You feel me? Without the sin. We here mainstreaming, making it so we can make some bread and stop this crime of poverty, this old sad-ass story you heard about why everybody broke. I'm done with that. You know what I'm saying? All right. For real.
Whew. Definitely. All right, Doc Valentine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to know from you, how do you see the current state? I know that you were talking about the brothers and sisters on the Facebook that are putting in the work and all of the new teachers that you are seeing on your radar. But you left New York City approximately, was it 5 years ago?
In 2006.
Okay, yeah. So you left New York about 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was actually 2005. That was when it was, yeah.
Okay.
End of 2005, yeah.
I remember that dark day very clearly, still in my memory. You know what I mean? It was very hard on New York. I'm going to just keep it real, especially for the youth, because when you're not really able to look forward into the future, you don't know what's going to come. You know, and you know, it was always, we always could count on a Sunday at least twice a month or at least once a month that you were going to be in LIU or somewhere else. You might be in Harlem doing your thing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was a sense of security. It was a sense of, comfortability amongst the students that were coming up and learning and whatnot, because we always had you there. Now, when you left, it's like Brother A.A. Rashid is sort of describing that there began a scramble for that seat that exists even today, because, got people that come into the game, they do 5 or 10 lectures, and all of a sudden, I don't know what Phil was talking about, but I'm better than him now. You even had teachers that were questioning the fact that if you were a metaphysical teacher and you're not rich, then your work is not valid. I didn't say it; they said it. You know what I mean? A lot of rocks, a lot of blasphemy. Like some of the brothers that we helped put on, I sat back and listened to these brothers talk crazy. You know what I mean? About many of the master teachers, you included. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it's one of the ugly things that come with being behind the scenes. It's one of the ugly things that come with the pursuit of perceived power. It's one of the ugly things that come with individuals whose egos are out of control. You know what I mean? But how do you see the community as a whole, lecturers included, at this moment in time right now? And I'm speaking about from a New York's perspective, not globally. I'm talking about how do you see the house that you built and that you wind up leaving? What is your perspective on it now?
That's interesting. I saw. It's the way you were putting it, I understood. I got little bleedbacks or blowbacks from a lot of people that essentially felt that necessary to attack what they believed to be my name that I had created there. And, human beings have certain things that are personal about them that they have faults on. And that particular story about me not being wealthy and dealing with metaphysics, that again is something that most people don't see because they're too busy describing rather than defining.
Yes.
And so a lot of the people who listened to my materials and thought that I was describing something that they could use as a hook for them to make money or make a name, they only got the description part of it, so they never actually understood the depth of it. There was a time when I was in the community sharing $30,000 a month, putting people to work, and most people didn't even know that, and that was back at the time when I was running the Self-Healing Education Temple and the Heal Thyself Temple out of my house. I was actually promoting fasting programs where I had over 102 people on the program. I had 2 days per weekend that I had people coming in and having colonics that was actually outsourcing colonic irrigation, training people to teach them how to do colonic irrigations for those people who were on my program and putting people to work. Just because I did not go out and begin to promote myself, those kind of people who were attacking me are those niggas that like to put on a whole lot of bling and put a whole lot of grill on their teeth and everybody think they're rich. I didn't have a pimp mentality. That's not where I'm dealing with wealth. Wealth of knowledge, a wealth of happiness, a wealth of substance. And sometimes when you're too busy working to get dressed up and flash and make it look like you think everybody think you're working. That's the difference. And I kept telling people about that, to learn the distinction, to understand the distinction between the two, to know what substance is and how substance is supposed to look, and how you comport yourself when you are being a leader. And leadership is not something that you do constantly by standing out front. Most of your heavyweight leaders that run the world you don't see. So Instead of me going out front to look like I was rich, I was helping to make other people rich. I was enriching people's lives. You can have a whole lot of money pimping people and make yourself rich, but then you can grow in wealth by enriching other people. And if those people who felt that they had beef with me, or they felt that there was something deficient about me, and they felt that that was what it was, then articulate what was deficient. And a lot of times when they tried to articulate what was deficient, I would listen to them, and most people would want me to respond, but to respond is to give strength to that nonsense. And people don't understand the Tai Chi way of dealing with idiocy. You don't deal with stupidity by matching it and giving it any kind of validity, by even dealing with it. You just let it fade away and fizzle away like the fart it was. You wait around till a good wind comes and you don't smell it anymore. So the whole thing is that most of the time people who felt that they needed to attack me was a way to put the light on, them. And one of those people, and I could definitely say, was Ali Muhammad. He felt that it was necessary to put certain types of literature out to the people with my face on it and somehow bring me down a notch in the eyes of the people, because he felt, as he said, that I was pimping the people based on the knowledge that I was giving to them. Good, fine, whatever it is that he's saying, I really don't care, because based on the 37 years that I've been working in the community, I have, like I said, 36 godchildren that women can attest to, that I told them what to do and their husbands what to do, that brought about a baby where the doctors said they wouldn't have one. I have had people come away from cancers. I have helped teach people to heal themselves for 37 years. And I didn't have a budget to promote myself. I was promoted by the people, because the people actually told other people of the works I did. If most of those people, if half of those brothers that were talking the nonsense about me would go back in my past and talk to the people that I have assisted and try to match their particular accomplishments to mine, it would look insipid, it would look stupid, and they would look stupid. But because I don't promote myself that way and say, okay, here's all the people that has been benefited and here's all the money I've made and all that, that's all that nonsense. That's niggerism that I don't play with. I don't even get into that arena to dance around in, because those are for children. That's people who have lesser mentalities. Those are stupid people who have a little bit of knowledge, who feel that they want to take that knowledge and try to gamble it on the people's ignorance. And hopefully the people would not know that they're being slipped a Mickey, put to sleep while they get their pockets picked. This is the kind of niggerism that was actually about. In other words, start playing confrontational. Start getting that Ali Frazier kind of mentality. Get the nigger pimp bullshit going out there so niggas can dress up in their mink collars and come out to the gang and listen to people yell at one another on the stage. That's not where the metaphysical underground actually started, and it's not going to finish that way. Always. So when Ali Muhammad came out with those pictures and put me on a gravestone, that's the only time you actually saw me actually call somebody out at that level. Besides, of course, calling out all of the political idiots and all those people and the Christianity and that. That's when I call those out. But I do not go after specific people unless I feel that my life and my family's life are endangered. And when that very intelligent brother who was using his intelligence for all kinds of nefarious purposes to build his own egotistical repertoire, when he came at me to try to test me with those pictures, that's when I had to bring him down a notch. And, of course, he's changed his name again the way a chameleon and people who are playing the agent provocateur does. So he came after me, and that's the only person pretty much that I've ever had to go after to tell them what it is and who it is that they think they're messing with. I don't go out to try to mess with any of my brothers and sisters, because all the brothers who I've had to be the mediator for in the community, and those brothers know who they are. I've had to be the ones that mediate between the conscious community to make sure that there's no kind of the who are watching us, the young people who are watching us and seeing what it is that's going on. They don't need to see us bickering back and forth and pretending that bickering is some kind of way that we're actually working out our differences. That bickering and that nonsense that we're spitting back and forth, talking about, no, you don't know, let's have a debate here and debate that. I didn't set up the underground and the platform for debating between one another. That's a lot of nonsense. Debating is for people who want to rip you off because they want you to believe that what they say is real, and somehow presenting A, B, C, and a third is going to make people more intellectually acute because you came with something as opposed to something else. That doesn't work. That does not work. People who want to know the truth, you lay out your particular pattern, whatever subject matter you want the people to investigate, bring all your facts, and then give another forum to someone else, let them study that. That's the way you focus. Otherwise, you put a contentious mentality and a contentious environment there, and there's people coming to support theirs and cheer their man on, and then there's another one over here. Okay, who won? This is bullshit. Ain't nobody put Dr. Clark in one corner and Dr. Ben in the other.
Yep.
Y'all need to stop that. Nobody was putting Dr. Clint Ben and Dr. Clark on one end or the other. And a couple of times when Dr. Ben and what's his name, Cheikh Anta Diop, they didn't see eye to eye. But you didn't see them going toe-to-toe with one another and fighting it out and having their fans in one corner and the other. That's just the way agent provocateurs divide a community. So you all got to stop with this debating bullshit. That does not work. Studious people go in and find the information for themselves, state their case, and then step the fuck off. Let somebody else go through your stuff, think about what you have to think about, go ahead and study, and then if this other brother has a countermeasure, then speak about that, and then let that person marinate with that, let the people marinate with that, and come to their conclusion. If the people are going to be deciding what's real and what's not real just by listening to two people going at one another, then what are those people actually doing? Those people are actually listening to those people as the only authority, and that's not what the Gathering of the Masters was about. The Gathering of the Masters was to bring masters to that circle, not the teachers. The teachers who are there are actually to bring the masters who are the young people who are coming there as the audience. So the masters were in the audience.
So now you have situations where the information gets weaponized, and as a result of it, both of the people that are debating get destroyed because there hasn't been one person who stepped out of those debates who is relevant right now to the point that how they were relevant prior to the debate. There's not one. Every single one of them are trying to pick up the pieces of what they destroyed amongst each other, right? I've always said that Malcolm was in Harvard debating. Malcolm was at Oxford debating. Malcolm was amongst other pseudo-religious leaders debating them. If there was a debate, he took it, he had the community behind him, and he went into the community where they were hurting our people with the information, and he weaponized his information, which was the truth, and was debating them on that level. So now you have within the conscious community, as a result of a debate culture, individuals have claimed ownership and intellectual property over information that they got out of books, because Near Nigger was in Egypt 10,000 years ago. Nobody was in Moorish Spain. Nobody was nowhere. Okay? If you know, I'm not buying the incarnation thing with these dudes, because they getting this stuff off the internet and off of books and things of that nature. So they created a culture where it's, if I listen to this guy on Wednesday, I can't listen to these guys on Thursday because I'm riding with this dude. So now there's a fragmentation of information, and it's not even on the debate issue. You got people that deal with gossiping. You feel what I'm saying? You have people who are stooped to such low levels where they're putting blog talk radio shows against each other, like, you know, there's slot wars and all of this stupidness. So Now it's a simple fact where people are claiming rights over information, and if they were the one that presented it first, it's their information, so nobody else in the world has permission to speak about this because, I got it out. I did it, I did a lecture in 2008 in LIU. I said it first. I was the first one to say Aleister Crowley, so nobody else can talk about him. Dumb shit.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It became a thing, a quest for ownership of information that didn't belong to anybody. It belongs to whomever it is that the information is coming about. Now, a lot of people will argue, well, what is it that we teach the people, and who is going to know what's real and what's not real? That's what this whole thing is about. It's about getting the people to start reading the very books that they're entrusting the information to those people that they call their new teachers. They're not supposed to trust me. You never, ever heard me say, believe a goddamn thing I'm saying. In all of my lectures, you've always heard me say, don't believe a thing I say. Yes. Because this is what I found out. Now, I'm leading you in a direction so that you become more aware of where the information is so you can actually peruse it. And I kept telling them that the information that you're reading, the information that I've read with the 3,000 books I've put into my head, all of that is based upon what this devil has taken, twisted of our information. So even when I am teaching you information based upon what it is I've learned through what it is he's stolen and reconstituted for me to read, always read with a discerning mind and never believe everything that one book says. Always refer back to 6 and 7 other books around the same subject to make sure that when you come to an understanding and understanding of it, that is based upon what it is that you have accepted and what you have rejected based upon all the information. And always remember, keep the black in your information. Always make sure that you keep that black lens on, because all the information you're getting from everybody that you read from is always going to be tainted with that Neanderthal's mentality and what it is that he and how it is he's seen the world. But when we start arguing with one another, you don't debate your friends. You debate your enemies. Yes. It's your enemies that you debate. And when you go out to, you start using that platform to debate people who you're supposed to be bringing together, then you're creating an enemy. You're creating a rift between it. Because everybody who is believing in you is going to feel slighted if that other person does not come across and beat you at your own word. So like you said, they've weaponized the information, and the information can't do anything now but hurt and injure us psychospiritually, and hurt and injure each other, because the very platform within which that is brought is contentious. It's contentious and it's competitive. That's not what this was about. So that has to die. That debating bullshit has to die. You have to become more studious in yourself. You have to raise your own intellectual acuity. And if there are teachers out there, then teach. Don't argue. Teach. And if you are being true to the people and true to the information that you're giving,
my bad.
If you are true to the information that you are bringing, and the information that you are bringing to them as truth, because remember, you're bringing knowledge to them, but knowledge must be transferred in the form of information. Once information enters into your head, it becomes knowledge. Knowledge applied becomes wisdom. If the knowledge you are applying does not add up and does not give you back the results of what the knowledge claims to give you, then you drop it. But it only happens based upon you doing your own investigative analysis and becoming true to yourself with everything that you endeavor, everything that you put your mind to understand and overstand. And that's what I wanted this metaphysical underground to grow in New York at, to leave this torch with the young teachers so that they're teaching, not arguing with one another.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And I always wanted to get that clarity from you. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted you to be able to state that mission statement for all to hear, you know, because without that voice was missing. You know what I'm saying? That voice of wisdom, that elder's voice it was missing in the conversation. So a lot of things were up for interpretation. You have people now coming into consciousness thinking that in order to be relevant, they have to negate every single person, every single platform, every single group, every single teacher, everything that came along besides them. And then somehow, miraculously, everything that they're talking about, everything that they're speaking about, every topic that they touch on is the only righteous or right topic, and everything else is a farce.
Twin, listen. They don't. Shout out to I forgot to shout out my West Coast contemporaries, young brother Okira Damani and brother Siddiqui Bakari, who y'all familiar with.
Shout out Siddiqui.
Word up. They definitely putting that work in for real. You know, but let me tell you something. They don't play that out here. They don't do debates on the West. You heard? They don't do debates. Everybody that I ran into, they always ask me, what's the matter with those dudes over there? Why they was competing? And it's strange, yo. You heard? It's strange, yo. It's strange to try to explain to them that it comes from this whole paradigm of people who have been denied self-expression finally get an opportunity to speak, and then it becomes a homoerotic type of going back and forth to see who joint is bigger. You heard? In public.
Yeah,
you know
in public. Yeah, pissing contest.
I mean? Exactly. You know what I mean? So they totally don't understand it over here. You know what I mean? And the youth, you know, it's only caters to me. It caters to people who don't want to focus on themselves. Those are people who are intrigued by debates because it gives them an opportunity. They actually pay for this. They go in, they sit down, and then they listen, and then the whole time they listen to two people argue all the foul shit that they are, you know what I mean, and about it gets suppressed, and then for 3 hours they get to, pick and see who's going to die. You hear, ooh, like they in the gladiator circle. You know what I'm saying? So
that's exactly the synthesis. Yeah, that you're speaking right on it. It becomes a gladiatorial experience rather than an internal experience of participating in an upward energy in an enlightenment process. It's more of a immediate or spontaneous gratification within those 3 hours where they can have something to talk about who did best and whatever. And, of course, the information that's being bandied across back and forth becomes secondary to the actual contentious nature of the environment that was created. So things that are supposed to be understood in a quiet, contemplative manner, when you're truly understanding the subject matter, when you're truly getting to that information and not just wanting surface information to feel gratified that this person won over this person's information, find out for yourself. This is what you're saying. I can understand the whole homoerotic thing of, naked men wrestling in the middle of the thing. That's what I see, this Greek nonsense. And this is why I'm saying when we put contentiousness within something that is supposed to be achieved from an internal dynamic, consciousness, knowledge, and things that are supposed to uplift you personally, it's an internal process. It's not an external process. It's an internal process. And that's the other thing that I couldn't understand with a lot of the young people, how they could be playing all kind of wild music and loud noises and still be trying to process things that are supposed to be actually accessed and processed in a quiet mind. Much of what I've come to understand about the works is based upon the quiet mind that I have afforded myself in order to find that. See, with the cacophonous noise of the outside world, you cannot hear the whisper of the observer within giving you guidance to what it is that you are now finding out in the knowledge. It's the observer within that you find in a quiet space, in the silence, that place of intelligence, because intelligence is the silence. And until you can achieve that silence, you cannot understand your intelligence. You can't access your intelligence. So until you've achieved the silence within and then access the intelligence that is the silence, you can't know what your subject matter is. You can't do that with all kinds of distractions going on around you. I don't care what they say. So So that's another part of what the youth are missing at this point. They're so addicted to the noise and the cacophonous distractions that they can't actually process information without the noise and distraction. But the information stays at the informational level because it does not process through the silence of the intelligence level.
Indeed. Real quick, family, 347-637-2135. 347-637-2135. I want to go to the lines.
Got a minute left, family. Call in.
Yes, we have a minute left, family. Call in at 347-637-2135. And I did promise that we were going to take calls from the family. So do you brothers mind if I open up the phone lines and let a few of our listeners in?
By no means. Go right ahead, brother.
Indeed. All right, we're going to take our first call from a caller from an 832 number, 526. Caller from the 832-526. Peace. Welcome to Know the Ledge Radio.
Peace, fam.
Peace, family. How are you?
All right. I didn't know I was in the host queue.
Yes, sir.
It's Brother Talib, calling from Houston. I just wanted to tell you guys, I talk to all you guys periodically, but I just want to, give y'all kudos and big ups, and all the information that y'all giving is really not going in vain. And it's really, I just tell everybody to, learn from y'all syntax of how y'all doing things, and it don't have to be exactly how y'all doing it, but that's why really not talking, doing a lot of working out here. A lot of brothers out here, and from Dallas to Houston to Louisiana, and that's what we really don't understand is the debate thing. Because we both see everybody's genius, and we just just want everybody to come together, and like I always call in, I just focusing on what everybody need to do and to build a land bridge to wherever you from to wherever you from to connect whatever the conscious circuit so everybody can be in. So, first thing first, it takes a lot of work behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? So, I just appreciate everything that you guys doing down to the little nooks and crannies. It really helps. I speak to
brother.
My locals out here. So, yeah. So I appreciate it. I didn't know I was in the host queue. But peace, y'all.
Brother.
All right, bro. Appreciate you. All right. Shout out to Houston, Texas, and Dallas, all other parts. And like I said, many of the teachers that are on the line tonight, we would all of us would love to venture forth into those areas to speak to the brothers and sisters in these new territories and whatnot, so you could be able to see it live. All right? So we're going to go to a caller from the 716. Caller from the 716-935. Peace. Welcome to Know the Ledge Radio. (716-935). All right. We're going to go to a caller from the 201-220. Peace. Caller from the 201-220. All right.
We're moving.
Yeah. We have a caller from the 708-768. Peace to the caller.
Peace, God.
Peace.
Peace. Brothers, I don't want to give my resume. I feel like a baby in the womb to Pan-Africanism and Black thought. Everything that y'all talk, I'm where I'm supposed to be right now in this experience as a human on this plane. I'm from Chicago. I'm from Chicago, brothers. When I listen to the brother AA, I identify because growing up in Inglewood, Chicago, everybody knows Chicago. We on news. That's what's needed. Brothers who can relate to kids out there in the street who have intellectual paralysis as well as the spiritual insight to be able to touch them and neutralize them and come in and hit them with truth while you talking to them in a language that they need to hear. I mean, this is needed, man. I mean, in regards to the competitiveness that y'all were talking about, hey, man, that's the worst shit ever. I mean, they really tricked us. What's really fucked up, in my opinion, is how we bought into competitiveness. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. I'm listening to the elder. God bless. You know, there's nothing wrong with having wealth, right? There's nothing wrong with that in the right context. Everything should be done in the right context. And just because some got it and some don't, it doesn't discount who they are based upon what they got. You know, there's so many thoughts that's running in my dome, man. I'm listening to y'all show every night. I'm repeating shows. I done listened to like 3 or 4 shows like 5 or 10 times. You know what I mean? Because y'all is rocking the rules. I love what y'all doing. I'm in the community, and I'm working myself more and more in it. Because this is it, man. This is it. And we have to set, like y'all said, there has to be a system set up in place where we come into the temples the way that 5,000 years ago, as it was said, we were going into temples and being, we were raising ourselves up with information around each other, you know, vibrating that energy. You know what I mean? There's so much, but the competitiveness, one of the brothers, I think it was Booker T, because he's in Chicago this week, Dr. Booker T. Coleman. He said something this week. He called it something like masturbation of materialistic masturbation, which is
mental
like masturbation. Yeah. But I don't know where the quote came from. He used it. You know what I mean? So I'm referencing him because that's why I heard it. You know what I mean? But yeah, mental masturbation. Yo, bruh, this is the culture that we live in there right now, right? Everything about the culture, hip hop too. The shit is, love rap, man. I'm mid-30s. We grew up on this shit, right? But it's sick. It's fucking sick. Yo, I don't even watch TV right now. I still love rap. I ain't fronting. Y'all was playing that Ross. I downloaded that joint last night, listened to it, but I'm dissecting it from a whole different angle, right? Yo, he's talking about wealth. Yeah, I like wealth in the right context, right? He's talking about women and referring to them as bitches. I really ain't feeling it, but I understand it. You know what I mean? But I ain't feeling it. But the more that we celebrate this fucking ignorance and this decadence, you know what I mean? My thought is not lost, but I'm on a roll. You know what I mean?
No, we with you, brother.
The culture is sick, bro. Competition, man, that shit excuse my expression when I say it's gay. It's gay. Yo, do you, be you.